2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. More than 50 million men in the US suffer from male pattern baldness. These are facts. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. And do you know what? Keeps offers both. Whoa! Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Virtual doctor consultations, medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't gotta leave. It'll send it to you. It's low cost. Treatments start at just $10 a month, and Keeps offers generic versions to help keep those prices nice and low. Discreet packaging, proven results, more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/bomb to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/bomb to get your first month free. keeps.com/bomb.
Oh yes, my friends, it is time once again for the giant Bombcast on this October 12th, 2021. My name is Jeff Backlar. I'm here with 5 friends of mine that we're going to go ahead and not talk about trash in New Jersey. We're not going to talk about Blippi in any way, shape, or form. He has been stricken from the record. We're going to instead do a podcast about games and whatnot. And the goings
Blippi
on.
zone.
Does Blippi count as whatnot? Does the cesspool of New Jersey count as whatnot?
Blippi counts as
See,
talking about
I thought
Blippi.
I was clear. Hasn't New Jersey been through enough, Jeff Gersman, between the Jersey Shore, Hurricane Sandy, Chris Christie? Has New Jersey not suffered enough?
I feel like finding out that things are self-inflicted. That's like,
Go on about this self-inflicted hurricane.
No. I say 2 of those 3 things are self-inflicted.
Go on.
Jersey Shore, self-inflicted.
Staten Island people.
And Chris Christie, self-inflicted. The people of New Jersey spoke, and that's what they said out loud. They said out loud, that's our guy.
I didn't fucking say that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna continue around the clockwise here. Jason A. Striker, what's up, bud? How do you feel about not shitting on New Jersey?
I'm fine with it because I've never been there, but I can't wait to go. It sounds like a great place.
Dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really liked it for what it's worth. When I went to Jersey, I actually thought it was pretty nice. There was a part of me that was like, Jersey seems okay.
See, you see value. You get it. I get it. Yeah. Danny O'Dwyer, get that shit off your chest now while you got a minute, buddy. Go for it.
Floor is yours.
I have nothing to. I have nothing to say because literally, as the Giant Bomb intro music was playing, I had what can only be described as a catastrophic Diet Coke spill.
Oh my god, that's what that was.
Which is why I'm currently using this toilet paper. So I'm going to. I'm going to eat humble pie and pass my time to
the Diet Coke
back.
was so shocking that you shit your pants? Is it? Hang on.
Sounds like that Diet Coke was bottled in New Jersey. Maybe.
Well, my pants are wet, so
there you go.
Who's to say if this? Let's see if this keyboard survives the podcast.
I can help you out if it doesn't. Ben Pack, what is this fucking like bikini bottom shit? What do we got going on here, bud?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here at the Krusty Krab. Yeah, thank you, Jan. I made the same face, but internally.
What? I like SpongeBob.
I do too, and I was excited to work with him in Squidward, but apparently they've been let go by Mr. Krabs for trying to unionize, so I'm here by myself.
Times are tough.
I understand that joke.
Labor problems gets worse and worse.
I understand. It's no better under the sea, let me tell you.
For the record about New Jersey, I just really quickly want to say I've had a wonderful time in New Jersey. I've spent a few days there. Last time I went to the East Coast, and I had some Taylor ham that was quite delicious.
Oh,
wonderful. Yeah, now that I'm the only New Jersey person left, I feel like I'm going to have to really plant my flag deep into the ground here.
You don't have any New Yorkers here that you have to like defend against, you know? You don't have that.
Oh, at this point they would. Well, I don't know. I mean, pick your poison at that point. So I'm just gonna have to hold my ground here. Jan Ochoa, how are you? And a little belated happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Everything still hurts. I can do 5 pull-ups.
Some birthday.
Wait,
what's up?
Are you implying that like you turn a certain age and instantly you fall apart? Because that is not how biology works.
Definitely.
Okay,
That's absolutely how it works.
No, that's how it works.
I had said this
reality,
on Twitter.
yeah.
I worked out with my crew on Saturday, and they were like, "It's pull-up day, dog. We got to get you on
Deli
some pull-ups."
gang.
Not the
Yeah.
Deli Gang. This is
Oh,
a
fuck.
different gang.
a goof.
I'm part of.
Belly gang.
I'm trying to get rid of the Belly Gang. Am I right?
Right.
Anyway,
Nice.
turns out doing pull-ups is hard, and then I was really, really sore Sunday and yesterday on Monday, and then I had like a weird swelling thing happening on my bicep here, and then as soon as I Googled it, it said like, "Nah, dog, you're gonna die." And I'd been sore
It said,
since
"Nah,
then.
dog, you're gonna die."
That's what Google said. That's exactly what Google said.
But what was it? Because you're alive.
Chrome
So what
extension.
was it really?
I don't know. I think it was just like a swelling or whatever.
I think they call that getting swole. That's what you want,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah. Did you
That's
just
right.
Did you just pound creatine or something before all that? Like what happened?
My friend gave me like a B12 energy gummy that he said would help with hydration. So I don't know.
Seems like it just hydrated your bicep.
Yeah, just a swell of water right there. It's great.
Damn.
Lovely.
All right. Well, I'm doing good too. Thanks for asking, everyone.
You know,
I'm kidding, I'm
the
kidding.
assumption is you're doing fine.
Yeah, that's the assumption. Yeah, I feel like we've got a good amount of games to talk about this week.
Oops.
So why don't we do it? Let's do it. Let's do the games. I feel like I'm the only person on Earth who hasn't played Metroid Dread, and I kind of want to keep it that way. But who else has played it? Speak now.
I have.
yeah.
Me, Ben Pack.
A little
Great.
bit.
Great.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really,
All
really
right.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out.
I do
yeah.
want, as someone who hasn't played this, I just want to interject and say that is the consensus that I've absorbed as well. But it's always followed up very quickly by, God, it's so frustrating and hard. And I guess is that can you unpack that a little bit for me? Because when I hear the second part, I'm just like, oh, maybe I won't play this game.
I think it's a really weird game, and it's a Metroid game with everything that kind of entails, but also they kind of, made changes with the whole Emmys and melee counters and stuff. It's some of the stuff they've done in some of the previous games, a little bit here and there, but like it's a game where you get to a dead end and like you're just like, what the fuck do and you have to shoot walls to proceed, and the walls go away. Like Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a Metroid-esque Metroid, but
It feels like a game. It feels like a game that Nintendo was like, all right, no one internally cares enough about Metroid to make this game. We're going to give it to Mercury Steam because they've made, they've helped us out before. We're going to have them take care of it, and because Metroid never really sold really well, just go ahead and make a Metroid thing. Like, don't try and clean it up for the kids. Don't try and make it like way more accessible, like some super easy, like they just said like, yeah, go do it. Cause like, people want it. We'll make one. But like at the end of the day, it just feels like they didn't have like huge expectations of it being some mainstream hit. So they just went ahead and made something that is very true to the experience of the original Metroid games.
Yes.
And that's kind of rad. It's crazy though, because some of the things that entails are literally like you run up to a dead end and you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to
There's a
shoot stuff.
tooltip. Yeah, there's a tooltip
Yeah.
early on that's like, you're going to get lost a lot, and so just shoot shit and see what happens.
Yeah, there's a tip.
Yeah.
We played a little bit of it on UPF, and there was a tip that someone mentioned during that segment where as soon as you get like a new power or the ability to open up a specific type of door, there is a highlight function on the map that shows you like, here are all the other doors that are just like this one. And if you do get stuck,
That's cool.
that is definitely a function to try out because you'll
we
get
saw that, right? Yeah.
you'll get the charge beam, and then like I think I remember a charge beam door or door I couldn't open initially, and then thankfully it'll show you there. And there's the map is okay enough. It
the map will also blink like certain areas if you haven't found a thing in an area in a spot, meaning like, hey, there might be a wall you could shoot here. That area on the map will kind of flash.
Yeah.
So they do give you like that. That's kind of the little bits and pieces they give you that do help in that context. But yeah, it's
If I could really quickly speak to Mr. Bacalar's original question about the difficulty, I think a lot of it, for me, I've realized has come down to this is not a game you can rush through. This is not a game you can haul ass through for multiple reasons, whether it be the Emmy encounters, which we can talk more about in a minute, but like even just out in the level, the way the enemies are positioned, they're very smartly placed either along walls or in the middle of like where you would be jumping, and they do a lot of damage. Like stray hits can do a lot of damage in this game. It's not so much that you're like dying constantly just to regular enemies, but if you're like really not paying attention, really just kind of not carefully moving through, and I'm sure with upgrades you'll be able to like haul ass through the end game, right, when you're trying to get all the upgrades or whatever. But they really want you to take your time, and I think it fits with the overall kind of aesthetic of the game, which is Dread, right? Like it's that idea of it's the Metroid thing. You're in an alien planet. You don't know what's going on. There's some forces at play that are beyond your comprehension, but they really amp it up in this game.
That being said, though, the mobility in this game is insane enough where say you keep dying at a specific point, wherever you get checkpointed back, the run up to get back to where you were is really, really fast. The checkpointing is like somewhat generous during the Emmy encounters.
It's pretty good.
Outside some of the boss stuff, like you still have to go through the couple doors or screens to redo a boss encounter if you wind up dying. But the mobility, like with the slide, once you get the ball, the speed booster, I think it's really great to let you just haul ass through an area. And if you do recognize the patterns or whatever of where the enemy placement is, you can totally avoid everyone, and it's great. And the parry system is fantastic enough, and it's always satisfying. Like the same bat-looking flying thing that you see in the first area, that enemy kind of repeats throughout the game, just like different color swatches. But the parry timing, once you nail that with that specific enemy, it's great. You get health back, you get missiles back.
Cool.
And that's kind of the thing that mitigates a lot of the stuff that, like you can just haul ass through this game and take those hits because the health you get off of one parry kill is usually enough to replenish all the fucking up you just did. Like it's not that difficult of a game, or at least in so far as I've gotten, which I've got the morph ball and I'm kind of on my way to next stuff. So I have not finished it, but it sounds like the difficulty comes from maybe the game not communicating what it wants you to do in some cases, and sometimes that's a dead end or something that you just didn't notice. But it sounds like some of the boss encounters are also just like, hey, there's one specific thing we want you to do, and until you do it, we're going to repeat this this phase of the boss fight over and over again until you get it. And that sounds like maybe where some of that frustration comes in, is like they could have been a little bit better with something like that.
Mm-hmm. But that also being said, I have never felt really terrible at playing video games, only for that to take a hard 180 once I figure it out. And it's like the same satisfaction that happened when I was playing Bloodborne, and then eventually some of the Souls games is like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What is going on? I fucking hate this. And then like you just make that one more attempt, and then like when it clicks, and then you're just fucking rocking. Like the second main boss fight, I was having a lot of trouble with it. And I think you get to it after where we left off in the segment in UPF. And I was thinking, this game is too hard. It's not for me. I'm done. And then I kind of just started using a different approach to the boss. I started using the charge beam you get rather than the rockets.
Right.
And that wound up saving my butt. And that wound up carrying me through the rest of the boss fight. And I think I had taken like 20 attempts at it and messed up so bad. But the one time when I figured out, like, oh, I should just maybe roll with the charge beam for this rather than your other tools, I got it got through it in the one try. And the game really, really forces you, at least where I'm at, to use everything you've been given.
Yes.
Whether
I really
it's-
like the increased emphasis on using missiles as just a regular weapon. Like, it felt like in older Metroid games, it could be, you're like, my beam will carry me through 90%, and then I'll maybe fight a boss where I can spam some missiles. This game really wants you to be using every weapon you've got.
Yeah.
They just give you so many, like, you know, the whether it's from parry kills, but even normal kills, like you're getting those resources back so fast that there's no reason to hang on to missiles like there used to be. You're not like, well, I need to make sure I have at least 5 missiles so I can open a red door later. You're just like, no, it's you're just fucking busting all the time. And
I don't think it's a spoiler, but so far my one of my main gripes with the game is this stupid kind of double jump you get halfway through the game. The timing is so specific on it that you can't execute it on every single jump. It feels like there has to be some type of arc that you're traveling through to activate the second jump. Like if you're trying to just clear like a small gap and you're pretty much just trying to go vertical and then the double jump, it doesn't work. You have to be traveling horizontally for it to go.
Is that because
so
it's like a screw attack?
It's a forward.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah. I don't know if it's a screw attack. They call it something else because there's no damage that happens that you can inflict.
Because I feel like the screw attack that gave you that sort of double jumpish sort of thing was always funky in that way. So I wonder if that's just one of those things they just go like, well, it's a Metroid thing. And I I appreciate how many times it feels like that the people making this game said like, let's just do a Metroid thing. Even though I feel like if you were making, it's interesting. Like it's like Nintendo doesn't make games like this. It's weird in a lot of ways. And I'm really curious. I don't know if any of you fit this bill, but like someone who has not played any of the other Metroid games.
That's mostly
like
me.
Yeah, like
Fusion was my last.
Yeah, like is it understandable?
Yeah.
Or does it just feel like arcane in a way that you're just like, I don't get why this is the way it is.
No,
I think if you played Super Metroid and have also played the occasional other platformer, you'll be able to like pick it up because it's really a lot like Super Metroid in a lot of ways. Like that formula fundamentally has not changed a whole ton through the last 30 years. But obviously they've modernized a lot of it. They've added in new items, new controls, like you have scenario-specific stuff, like when you finally get the ability to fight back against your first Emmy, and you get that like Omega Cannon, I think they call it, which is like a timed thing where you have to kind of sit and charge. Like all of this stuff is like things that have been from other modern run-and-gun platformers and stuff like that, but just folded in. It all fits into that Metroid stew.
Yeah. I think the only Metroid games I've played were the ones that got re-released on the GBA, and not like I didn't complete those. Like I just stuck around for an hour or 2 hours. But someone that really, really loved Dead Cells may get frustrated with this because of how much backtracking there is, or how frustrating some stuff can be because it isn't being communicated. Like the most the game will do in telling you, hey, you're going the right way, are like these blue butterflies that only periodically pop up depending on.
Is that what those are?
Yeah. So,
I kind of had that thought, but I never got the impression that I was right.
Yeah, those blue butterflies are kind of guiding you to like, hey, you're going the right way, don't worry. But that doesn't tell you whether or not you have the proper power-ups to get to continue going through the area you're going. I've done the thing a bunch in certain areas in the game, at least early, where you kind of just try and brute force your way through something. Like very early on, you go through doors that are too hot, zones that are too hot because your suit can't handle the heat. And then I was thinking like, I kind of remember the layout. Maybe I can just zoom by. And I kind of like that the game just shuts you down. It's like, nope, you can't do this yet. Don't even try. Yeah, good on you for thinking about it. But nope.
Well, it sounds like there are some places where you can kind of break sequence and maybe get items ahead of time. There's like a boss fight. You can kind of do an alternate way if you go out of your way to get some stuff early, which I saw the video of that and was like, this game is rad. That it kind of accounts for that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at a point right now where I'm actually stuck and not really sure what to do next. And I wish that because they break it up into areas, like you're like, oh, you found a train and you take it to the area 3 or whatever it's called, or hey, there's an elevator here that goes to a different area. And by default, it only really shows you the map of the area you're in. And so like the act of like, okay, I got the wide beam now, I can open these types of doors, and you can do that thing of highlighting them, but you still have to like go into the other area, look around that area and go like, is it here? What the fuck am I looking for?
The game also
that and the thing where you redirect the thermal flow on things, and then pathways you took before are suddenly closed off because new ones are open, and it does show those on the map. But because I'm like, oh, I go this way, go up here, and like get there, and there's a door closed that you can't open anymore. And I'm like, fuck, I got to run all the way around.
I've gone to a walkthrough twice now. Like I straight up, like I give it, whatever, 20 minutes to like really scramble around and try and find my way. But I know with these games, like I have a limit of how long I'm willing to sit there and slam my head against a dead end.
I'm seeing clear times
just to figure out if I'm even in the right like quadrant, because like Metroid Fusion, this has different biomes. There's like kind of a fiery one and a watery one and stuff like that. That's usually enough to get me on my feet. I'm like, okay, I should be in the fire zone. Okay, got it. I'll keep looking. Yeah,
that stuff's time consuming more than anything else. But I've seen clear times like in the 6 hour range.
6 to 10 seems to be pretty common.
10. Yeah. I thought I saw someone saying they were 100%ing it at 10 hours, which doesn't.
That person's a maniac.
But that also, I feel like that just underscores the problem I had all the way back to Super Metroid of just like, there's never quite enough to these games when you put them at a full retail price and all that sort of stuff. But
I want to see what someone speedrunning this game looks like, because I've hit several walls, even with the early Emmy encounters, because I keep trying to nail the parry window, and it's very, very small for stun enemies.
Can we really quickly talk about the Emmys? If you haven't seen this game at all and don't know, there are these little sections where it's kind of like a nemesis thing where you're being chased down by something you can't kill, and your goal is just to find the exit. Sometimes there's multiple exits, and you'll have to dip back through and stuff. But there are these robotic creatures kind of following you along. If they get within melee range of you, you enter a quick time event where you basically have 2 opportunities to parry an attack. But it tells you this, it's random when those attacks will come out. It's not always the same timing. Even within the same Emmy will have different timings.
I've seen some people, and I guess I don't know this for sure, but I've seen people say that the time from the start of the sequence to the first attempt is the same as the first attempt to second attempt.
Okay.
So that it tries to at least give you some indication on the second attempt. And it's one of those things where as much as you can say boy, that's really fucking hard, there's always someone out there going I nailed the timing on this and it's not a fucking problem, and it trivializes this whole sequence in the game.
For me, it's fucking impossible
I have not
to hit those parries. I get a 1 out of 10 maybe.
I started I last night I just was brute forcing my way through an area that I was just fuck it, I'm running, I don't care, and I was just getting caught over and over again. And so I had a lot of chances to try that. Also, how bizarre is it that this is a game where one of the most dangerous things, at least through the early game, is a fucking quick time event that kills you if you fail it. It's insane.
Sucks.
It's madness.
Sucks.
But
I think
it puts you right outside the door again. So I don't think it sucks that much. If it didn't do that, then those sequences would have no tension whatsoever. If it just let you off, or you could master that. If someone masters that timing, then I feel like that part of the game is totally pointless. It feels like it's designed to fuck you over, but also those areas are usually small enough that when it starts you right outside the door to that zone, you're like, all right, well, whatever. It's 8 seconds of me running to try this again.
I think they're interesting sections. They break up the flow of the gameplay quite nice, but I think ultimately the execution on how you're really dealing with these quick time events could be improved. It's one of those things of some people say it ruined the game for them, and I totally understand that. But I think it's the combination of the fact that they're rather short sequences. Ultimately, once you find the path, you're in and out in a minute and a half. And the fact that it puts you right outside the room upon death, that carry it from being like game breaking annoying to just like, oh man, this is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
You know?
And honestly, like by the time you're in that cutscene, you already fucked up. Because the right way through that is like jump over them. Like don't get caught. Like if you got caught, it's because you missed a jump, you fucked up a timing on, like getting away.
Early on, they give you a tool as well that makes dealing with them a lot easier. It gives you more leeway.
I have had very little success with the Phantom Cloak in terms of like turning invisible and
you're gonna have to use that a lot in the
trick
future
is stick to a roof. Get up on the blue roof, curl up on it, and just go cloak, and you can sit there for a really long time while they pass you. It's also cool because like it goes back to that thing I mentioned of making you slow down. Yeah. And the point I wanted to make there was like you can see on the minimap where the Emmy is if they're close enough to you, even if they're not in the same room. Sometimes you can see their red dot just kind of moving around in other rooms. So if you play it slow and really like get to know the areas, like, okay, they typically crawl through like vents and stuff and smaller passages, so they have more maneuverability throughout the level than you do. But even then, you can kind of plot out their movements and pick yourself a safe route. It really
so
comes
far
down to
I have
patience.
not. I think it's a patience thing, but I think because the restart is really fast and because it drops you right there, I have zero chill and zero patience when it comes to the Emmys. I'm just hauling ass, and if it sees me, I'm just gonna keep running and just like count on my platforming skills to get me through that section and get me to the door.
Yeah, you'll unlock more tools to help you jam through those areas, but then the Emmys kind of adapt to mess up your shit.
Right. Yeah.
There are these also like I don't even want to call them mini boss battles that start happening halfway through the game, but the enemies wind up being your size or whatever, but have the same amount of mobility that you do. It feels really dope fighting something similar to your size and then just using your tools to like get by them. Because I thought it was anytime an enemy like that pops up in any game, I always think like, oh, is this like a I'm supposed to fail thing? Okay, well, whatever. And then like I got past the game over screen. Is like, oh no, I have to beat this. Okay,
it's just Adventure of Link all over again, man.
Right, or even Metroid Fusion. Like one of the dopest parts in that game is when you finally confront Shadow Samus.
Yeah, and like those, like they have pretty predictable like attacks and movement and everything, but it still feels super satisfying. Like you're jumping around the area because you have just a little bit more mobility than they do, but they can still mess up your shit really, really fast. Yeah, I really like this game. It's really fucking
It's really good.
Yeah.
If I could lodge one more complaint, I think the game is really beautiful, especially the environment design, like the backgrounds. Even on my non-OLED Switch, playing in handheld mode still looks good. Like I think it's I know. I think it's a good looking game, but I think my one complaint with the art is that the enemy designs are a little boring. You're fighting blobs, you're fighting a little bug. Like Metroid has never had like really remarkable enemies other than like some of the bosses.
The Metroid.
Right.
That's it.
That's kind of it. Like it's never been a series that's been big on like crazy cool designs, but I think it's just a little mechanical, a little like basic space bug aesthetic that I think
Yeah, I think it's a case where like a lot of those map back to original Metroid too.
Sure.
In terms of just like here's ceiling bird fucking thing that flies at you when you run by it. Here's weird flying shell creature that doesn't take your shit and does not take any damage. Though I guess you can use missiles.
All of these enemies, such pointless lives they live.
I know, just walking in circles around a platform.
Like, I'm just gonna, it's so.
Hey man, aren't we all walking around circles of the platform of life, just waiting for Samus to come and kill us? Oh, totally. That's another thing I do want to shout out. Samus is cool as fucking hell in this game.
Oh,
holy
yeah.
shit. She is just constantly doing really bad.
Why? She got like a chain wallet? What do you mean cool?
No, she made like there'll be a cutscene. Like there is a story here.
Smoking
I think
cigarettes.
The story is good. I'm pretty early, but she'll like slide it like in a cutscene.
Skipping
like,
school.
Slide in. put her
Yeah.
blaster under some guy's chin, charge it up, blast him, like
Oh,
do a
fuck.
roundhouse kick. She just like does
Murder
like,
Samus.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does like the superhero landing. She'll do like the charge and like shoot and not look away, not look at the explosion trope. It's great.
She
nails
expresses
it.
a lot for the fact that she doesn't talk.
She talks in one instance. It's like halfway through the game. It's
I
fine.
might have missed it already. Yeah.
She got like sunglasses on or what?
Kind of.
The visor's fine.
Under
Yeah.
that visor? Under the visor would be pretty dope. Oh, that's very cool. All right, Metroid Dread.
Real
I'm gonna
quick.
play it. Yeah, I'll play it.
Does Fusion hold up? I kind of want to check it out. Like some of the older Metroids, or is it like
I have fond memories of it.
Yeah, I played it as recently as like 2018, 2017, and I enjoyed
Yeah.
the hell out of it.
Zero Mission's probably still pretty cool if I had to guess, but
That's the one I vote. This is my biggest Metroid blind spot.
Yeah,
I played some of it, and then just at the time I think I was just busy covering other games, and you know, other people were reviewing it or whatever, but the idea of, hey, we remade original Metroid was always kind of rad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Ben Pack, you've been spending some time on the big orange couch, haven't you, bud? What,
Yeah, that's right. It
tell
really
me-
is a... Go ahead.
No, I want to hear all about Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl and whether or not it made you feel old or validated. How did it
It
go?
made me feel a lot of things, like a good video game does. Yeah, it's really a banner time of the year for Ben Pack-ass video games with the release of Deltarune, followed by Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl. I talked a little bit about it last week. Okay, I'm going to speak about this game pretty generally, but then you guys are going to have to humor me for like 2 minutes while I really freak out about its place in platform fighter history.
Cool.
But yeah, man, it's a weird game. It's really one of the stranger video games. I think it's going to go down without, like, as a footnote in gaming history. I think this game's going to come and go, but like the fact that this was made and the way that it was made and how it plays and everything about it is just so strange. Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl is the platform fighting Nick Smash Brothers game from a team who has previously done a lot of very smaller titles, including a platform fighter called Slap City that people enjoyed. Yeah, man, it's $50 right now, I believe. I think I got it at $40. They had a launch deal thing on Steam. And, well, first things first, I want to correct 2 mistakes from last week that I said. First of all, the game does have slime, Jeff. I was wrong.
Okay.
There's a lot of slime between loading screens. You'll just get like a big splash of slime.
Is there
So I wanna
gack?
That's what the slime is, right?
Gak is a
slime and gack.
more...
You can get gacked,
Yeah.
but that doesn't.
Yeah.
That's with the bonus. You got to
Yeah.
bring your own stuff.
Grab
Gak
the
retains its shape a little better, if I remember.
Yeah,
Like, slime
the
is a more
Gak-
liquid.
Yeah, the gack I recall came in like a little odd-shaped plastic container.
Yeah, almost like
and
an
it
oil
had,
barrel,
like,
right?
Yeah, and had like little pieces of, like, I want to call it styrofoam in there. There was something. There were like little beads or pellets in it. I remember.
Gack was like it had a thicker consistency than like the
Yeah.
slime because you could make fart noises with it. You could push in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really
Like,
hope none of
Gucci
that
is
was
probably
like.
made
Gak
of Gak.
heroin? I thought Gak was
Is
heroin.
Gak-
I've
No,
never.
No,
we're
that's
not
yeah.
talking
That's what I was.
about
Yeah.
that. Your mind's in the
Elsewhere,
gutter, Danny.
Here in
Yeah.
the U.S., Nickelodeon Gack was a toy type thing they sold to children. It is not
Okay.
high quality.
Look, there could be
not
heroin in
skag.
Gak. We don't know, but
Nickelodeon Skag is a different thing.
It's all the fun.
I also hope there was nothing like gnarly in there. You know,
Oh,
because
there
I
was
did.
for sure something gnarly in there.
I just recall really playing with that a lot for like a week. Nothing
A little bit.
untowards, but just like,
You ever just take
Not-
a little...
you know, just rubbing it on. No, none of that.
Yeah.
No, none of that.
Burn someone's
that I can
spoon.
recall.
Oh, it's good that
Hmm.
they shut down the GB test kitchen because, God, if this game came out, Ben, and the
could
terrible
make
attempts
some-
at making Gak.
Edible gack.
Edible gack.
A lot of people were trying to make slime in the 80s. Like before, I think
Yeah.
Nickelodeon eventually kind of had to say like, hey, here's kind of what we used to make it or allude to it. But like there was a lot, kids wanted to get slimed a lot. It would be because of the popularity of you can't do this on television.
Yes.
Right.
You said, I don't know, you got slime. If you said
just-
water, you got water on you.
Yeah. Nickelodeon stole its whole slime aesthetic from a show that they licensed from Canada.
Yes. Isn't that wild?
It's so crazy.
My dad.
It
We went
is
to that
crazy.
live show once, and my dad got slimed twice.
Put Alanis Morissette
Wow.
into this game.
I mean, that'd be canon. Put Barf. Where's Barf at?
Yes,
Get Barf up
exactly.
in this game.
Barf. Boney.
So have you seen the
that's-
the supposed data mining leaks for this game, Ben?
I have, and it pretty much lines up with what I think like the big glaring absences so far with like a Rocco.
Well, no, it's like people are finding
it?
Garfield.
Oh
and-
yeah, so Garfield's
yeah.
the next big one to come.
Yeah,
it's
Shredder.
We
completely
finally
yours.
found we have finally found the thing to get Jeff into Smash. Everybody,
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to it.
So this was weird to me because, and I guess like it's actually fucking corporately lines up in 9 different ways. But when I think about Garfield in a cartoon sense, that's a CBS creation, not a Viacom one. Like Garfield and Nickelodeon are not the same thing to me. So like when they were like, oh, we got to put Garfield in here, I'm like, fuck you. And then there was like, oh, wait, yeah, no, Viacom bought fucking Garfield, so they own that is
all Viacom.
very much them.
Yeah. Real quick, the second thing from last week I do want to correct. There is rollback netcode.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
It's bad though. It's bad. The
Okay.
netcode in this game is.
Well, it's
You-
for
you
the
have
orange
some-
couch, not the online orange servers, right? That's what you gotta
I know.
keep it.
I know. I guess generally overall, my impressions with this game is it is a game made by a staff of developers that are extremely passionate about platform fighters and Nickelodeon. It's crafted with a lot of love, but I think, and I don't want to be talking out of school here, this isn't like I know something. It seems like it was done on a shoestring budget. Like it seems like they did not have a ton of money because there are glaring absences in this game. Most notably, no voice acting at all whatsoever.
That is a huge bummer.
Outside of the like announcer, right? It will be like 3, 2,
Oh, I
1,
thought
fight!
last week you were saying arcade mode maybe had some dialogue.
It has written text.
Okay, got it.
And that's it. And the written text is like the characters each say a line that's completely independent of who they're fighting. Like
Yeah.
I got SpongeBob versus Sandy, and I expected them to like say something to each other, but they were just kind of doing.
This ain't
their
King
own
of Fighters, baby.
thing. I know.
They don't
I
have the
know.
budget for one-off interactions like that.
But when I say
Who
like
knows?
it's super passionate and super like caring, you see it in a lot of things. You can see it in like the songs, the stages. Like Jan, I sent you the SpongeBob stage track, and it
Yep.
starts with that from like one of the first episodes of SpongeBob where he's getting the jellyfish to follow him, and he has to like ta 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 ta. Then it turns into the whole song, gets all the jellyfish dancing. It's like a remix of that. So like, and it's stuff like in the characters' moves. Like almost every character has moves that are frames from the show. Like SpongeBob, when he's free falling, he looks like he's in the suds, like he's all grayed out, and like there's just a million of these little pieces, and you can tell like they had a list of every character they wanted to do, and they had all the moves they wanted to put in. They had like really did some painstaking animation on that stuff. So like when I say that the game feels a little bare bones,
Slight,
I don't think it's from a place of like poor resource management or anything. I really think that they did the best with what they could for this.
It really
game.
does sound like that Power Rangers game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, the Power Rangers game, similar circumstances when it launched, no voice acting at all. They eventually patched it in and
Oh yeah.
redid a whole story mode. They also added the, Adam as the Black Ranger recently. I'm just saying.
Oh,
well.
Repulsa also dropping.
Oh shit.
Yeah, oh.
Okay, I gotta check that out again.
Scorpina 2, dog.
They have said that they are like looking into and working on solutions for voice acting. Like they are committed to treating this as a long-term release. They talked about balance recently. Like they talked about kind of all aspects of the game. I mentioned last week that they said like this game could look completely different in a year, like that Power Rangers game.
Yeah.
And I believe it because it seems like it's selling all right. Like it seems like it's out there and people are playing it.
How does it feel?
There's a
developed-
desire. It seems like there's a desire from players to like want this to be better, and depending, I imagine it depends on how well it actually sold, like how far they can take it from here, right? So,
Right.
yeah, we'll see.
There's a small scene developing around it from a more competitive level, which is cool, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be like a Smash killer or anything. I don't like,
Is it a
people are out there
Shrek
being
Super
like,
Slam killer?
It might be the Shrek Super Slam killer. This game seems to me like
Hyperbole.
it has a prime chance at being the like, we need a cooldown game from whatever our main Smash game is. Let's play some Nick All-Stars, right? Like,
Okay.
this game, people like, and Jan, if you could maybe cue up that video I sent you. People like, okay, I'm going to talk about platform fighters for like 2 minutes if it's really...
All right, here, ready?
If you're one of those
We get
commenters. Do you have a timer for
120
me?
seconds on the clock. Yeah.
Wait, can I see it? Or just tell me when to go? Tell me when to go.
Nope,
Tell
I
me
can
when to
keep
go.
it in my head.
Tell me when
Go.
to go. Okay. People like Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube because it is a very fast,
Should I play
fluid
this
game.
video?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very fast, fluid game. People didn't like the following Smash games. Melee people did not like the following Smash games because it wasn't nearly as fast and frenetic. This game, Nick All-Stars Brawl, is like faster and more frenetic and more intense than Melee even was. If you're watching the video version, you can see this is one of the top Smash players playing this game. This is like week 1. You can note his hand cam in the lower right. These are all the inputs that he's doing. This isn't like him playing it up or anything. Like, this is what this game looks like when you're cracked out of your mind and can like handle the insane Smash inputs.
Gacked out of your mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
You've
who's
got to
he
be
playing
seriously
as?
gacked to play this game. He is playing as Aang right now.
Okay.
Who is probably the fastest character in the game. It's a game all about speed. It's a game about aerials. There's a lot of 0 to death combos. Like 2/3 of the roster have insane 0 to death kill moves. It's just like people out there like Leffen, like top Melee players are out there saying like this game has no right being as insane and fast.
Whoa, this
and
game
just
does look
broken.
crazy.
Holy shit.
It is.
Now we're talking.
Oh no. There we go.
Huh. You
It's
you did it
weird,
under 2
man.
minutes.
It's a weird video game.
Seems like it.
Yeah. The devs have chops. They got a lot of love for it. That's cool that they were able to put that in the game.
Yeah, I just wonder how, to your point of like how it will be considered like more than a blip. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, people thought like that Power Rangers game was just going to come and go, but then because of the continued support, I think it still has a pretty dedicated scene to it. Dedicated enough. for
Yeah,
them
like
to-
it's not massive, but it's like it's
Yeah.
enough players to at least keep it coming up here and there. They're like, hey, we're doing another season pass. We're doing this. We're doing that. You know, like that's. It doesn't need to be the biggest game in the world to get that level of support. So
I wouldn't mind because like this.
You got to be
is-
pretty big to get Rita Repulsa, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
She was stuck in the moon for like 5,000
Fucking A. Right.
Some live action Nickelodeon characters I feel like would go a long way for me on that one though.
Who you talking like Keenan?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
bringing
He just kind of
Keenan-
pops in like the toasty guy every once in a while.
Sure. Give me
Peter
like
Escargot.
Awesome.
one of the people from Hey Dude.
Okay.
Give me
Mark Summers?
little
Mark
Pete.
Summers.
Pete
Yeah.
and or Pete.
Yeah, Michael. Give me
they can be like
give
the
me
Ice
Mo.
Climbers.
Yeah, give me Mo from Guts.
No,
not
give me
Michael
the
Malley.
leaderboards.
He's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
Mo
Give me-
with the
Wait, what are we talking
leaderboards.
let's go to Mo. Let's give
Give
me
me Stickly.
Oh,
okay.
That would break the game, Ben.
give me Ugg from Salute Your Shorts or Donkey Lips. Either or. I'm
I
not
feel
precious.
Like you can't. I
Give me
feel
the
like you
turkey from
can't.
Turkey TV. I mean, if we want to just like talk about eras of Nickelodeon, like let's.
Ooh, give
Carissa, was that a
yeah,
was that
Melissa Joan Hart, and then she just writes,
okay.
and that's how she attacks.
Nick? Or the
Okay.
cat?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Little,
sick.
little puppet cat guy from that.
There could be like a
Just
Nick
comes
at
up.
Night bundle.
Whoa.
And then you get like
Yep. Alan Havey in
Just
there.
fucking Dick Van Dyke shows up. You're like, what? They got Dick Van Dyke? What?
No, Alan Havey was. Never mind.
Oh, why don't they have iCarly? Damn it! Damn it!
Oh, I'm forget. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Get like fucking
The bucket of sand.
Some
Yeah,
weird
just
Canadian kids.
The cute
Some, like,
blonde girl
not
from
spooky
15. I
Canadian
mean,
kids.
let's just go all the
know?
way.
Hell
Jan,
yeah.
we're pretty close in age, but it's funny because like iCarly is like the big Nick sensation that happened right after I got off the Nick train. Like it's funny, like
Dude,
knowing
highest
where
paid
everyone.
actress. Highest
I
paid
know.
actress in Nickelodeon history.
No
like,
shit.
She earned every cent of it.
Yeah. America's sweetheart, Miranda Cosgrove.
Great in
great.
School of Rock.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Do you
Yeah,
think they
that's
could
right.
add Nickelodeon movies into this so they could have like a Nacho Libre?
Ooh, that'd be perfect.
That's a Nickelodeon movie?
I believe it is. I want to say it's a Nickelodeon.
That sounds
joint.
right.
Isn't Good Burger? Good Burger's a Nickelodeon movie, right?
Oh
Yeah.
man, someone said Degrassi in the
Put Drake
chat.
in this.
Exactly, Wheelchair Jimmy.
Yep.
They got their own extended universe.
This dash
guys.
attack writes itself. I mean, it's perfect. Like I'm gonna reach out to Ludosity and see if we can make this happen.
See what you can do.
Just mod
Ben,
it.
please.
Like just
Yeah,
make this
just
like
mod
the,
this.
Well, wait. Okay. Like if we really think about the extended universe
CSI.
and get to like Viacom CBS properties, in the
Oh.
80s they aired Saturday Supercade, which was a bunch of video game themed cartoons. What if you got a guy like Donkey Kong?
Yeah,
What if Donkey
Yeah.
Kong was in a platform fighter? That'd be crazy.
that'd be
By
really
that
cool.
logic,
Yeah,
you
I
can
can't
get
see it.
yourself a Jeff Gerstmann in this game too. By that
Sure.
logic.
I don't think they retained any of the rights on that.
the Gerstmann rights.
The rights to my
Game Mill
likeness
doesn't
got
have
sold
Jeff
along with
Gerstmann
everything
running.
else.
let's just play Mugen. Like, is this just Mugen at that
Yeah,
stage?
sure. Yeah.
Just salty bet, and we'll just make up some. I want to see Jeff Gerstmann go try and beat any one of the Homer Simpsons. Good luck.
I bet the Fire Pro version of Salty Bet that was running for a while actually had that fight at some point.
Good stuff.
So yeah,
All
we'll have
right.
to wait for Omega Tom Hanks, but we'll enjoy what we have while we have it.
Do you think it's friendly enough for someone like me to just try and hop in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like I don't want to. It can be that fast. It can be that crazy and frenetic, but it also just controls really well. It's really easy to do advanced smash techniques on a level that like new players can pick up. Like it's super easy to wave dash. I told Jan that I'm going to make him do his first wave dash at some point, and it's gonna be a proud moment. For
Break
me.
him in.
I'll be there to throw crabs at you as you get better.
Blues Clues. Why isn't Blues Clues in this?
Right.
Man.
Yeah,
Steve?
we'll have to-
Oh, Steve, Joe, and Josh? Dude. Oh.
Steve with his hat.
all right.
Steve with his
Now
hat.
you're just wishing for miracles, Jam. You can't.
Who was that guy from the top of the show? The mic check dude. What was that?
Flippy?
What was that?
Me?
Yeah, is he a Nickelodeon thing?
Relax. No,
not
don't
Nickelodeon.
besmirch
He's
the
Solo
legacy of
Dolo.
Nickelodeon. It's because he's
Get him in there.
orange, inexplicably orange. Fuck. Yeah, put Gak in it. So I
Gak
feel
in
like every time well, I've talked to you, Gerstmann, you're always like you're always talking about this fucking Forza Horizon 5 thing that you've been playing, and you're just like the weirdest fucking thing I've ever had to put my hands on. And talk about what this is.
So Microsoft sent out a preview version of Forza Horizon 5, which is great. You know, it's like, hey, it's more Forza. But like in terms of just like, and this is perhaps a little too inside for a lot of people, but like the build was just bizarre because it was a case of like it did not save any progress whatsoever. So every time you launched it, it launched from the very beginning. And I played about an hour of it, and then I was like, well, let's switch from graphics mode to performance mode so I can see what it looked like at 60 frames per second. And I did that, and it said, we got to restart the game, and just absentmindedly went like, okay, yeah, of course you do. And it restarted the game and didn't have any progress saving and all of those stuff. I mean,
That's crazy.
obviously, the game's coming out in a month, and that version's not going to be, you know, this version didn't have any of the online stuff in it or any of that other stuff. It was really just like the first 60-ish minutes of kind of the like campaign content and then open world stuff, you know. So it was like a very limited build that they wanted people to play through. But I did play it for like a couple of hours, and it seems really nice. It's you know, hey, they're making another Forza Horizon, and I think there's like pros and cons with that, right? Because they didn't have that buffer game of a regular Forza in the middle, and Forza 4 had a unnaturally long tail because it also kind of was one of the few games that launched on Xbox Series X with Series X upgrade support and stuff. So like for me, I played a lot of Forza Horizon 4 on PC when it first came out, and then didn't play it for a while. And then when the Series X came out and they released all the upgrades and all that other stuff, I got back into it and played a lot more of it. And so I'm coming into Forza Horizon 5 like kind of a little bit burned out on the formula again, which is how I felt before 4 came out. I think 3 was a little too much, and then 4 made some good changes. But this is, it's got seasons. It's got, the individual cars have skill trees. Like a lot of the same stuff that you saw in Forza 4 is just still here, more or less how you remember it. And so the big thing is obviously Mexico, and it's a really nice looking game. And in that performance mode on a Series X, it runs great.
Good.
And just still looks really nice. Like I think they sent out some charts about like, here's what's it'll have ray tracing in Forza Vista mode, which I think is where you just like are looking at a car, if I remember correctly. And
man, it works on Vista. Shit.
Yeah. And so the graphics mode will have ray tracing there, and performance mode will not. But that just seems like a really minor difference. All the reflections and puddles and stuff I thought looked really nice in performance mode. So it just didn't. It didn't seem like it was like a dramatically reduced image quality playing in performance mode, I guess is my point. And I want to play the full version of that game with all the online stuff, because I thought that the online things they put into Horizon 4 were really smart and awesome. And I hope that you can floss, because, when Forza Horizon 4 launched, you could floss, and then they took flossing out in the great like dance lawsuit battles of whatever year that was.
Let them floss.
Yeah.
On a waterfall.
But it's a new festival. It's a new area to drive around in, and it looks really nice. But I guess like my thing is like it also feels very much like here's the formula for what a Forza Horizon game is, and we've plopped it down in a new area, and you're either in for that or you're not. And I think I'm in for it, but again, like I played a lot more recently than I would have in the normal kind of Forza cadence. So I could see myself getting into it for a little bit and then being like, all right, I feel like I just did this, and maybe falling off, but we'll see. We'll see. Right. Really nice looking game.
Is it cross-gen?
Yes, it is.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, the version they sent was only for, they did not send a PC version or anything like that. It was only for Series X and Series S.
Okay.
But yes, it will run on that other stuff.
All right.
And yeah, so I came away from it thinking like this is very similar. This is very much in line with expectations for what you would think of as a sequel to Forza Horizon, especially considering it feels like they kind of jumped the line for release schedule stuff or whatever they did to, kind of, this feels a lot closer to the release of 4 than it actually is, because they kind of released 4 again. And maybe that'll be a little weird for some people, but
you're starting to get an idea of like what you think this means for like the next iteration.
I mean, they're rebooting Motorsport, right? So they when that game comes out, they're just going to call it Forza Motorsport, and that's their serious game, right? I want to see what they'll do with it, but I think at this point, like, I'm not here for major serious racing. But I think that like if in a reboot of Motorsport, what they probably need to do is go even further in that direction, because Horizon manages to feel realistic enough for most players while also being a whole lot of fun. And Motorsport was always kind of weird, like, we got a soccer mode in here somewhere, and car soccer, and like, who would play car soccer?
Rocket League.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
So I'm curious to see what they do with Motorsport when that finally does come back around. And also I would love to see a stronger, I get like more of a rethink of what Horizon can be, in terms of progression and the types of races you do. Like, I feel like I've been kind of beating this drum for the last few of these games, but like they try to hang their hat on these showcase races that are always like, you're racing a car against something that's not a car. Isn't it crazy? It's a train. What? And the train's ahead of you for almost the entire race because it has to go in a straight line while you're weaving in the track going this way and that. And then magically at the end you beat it by a hair because the whole thing is rubber banded to shit and it's super fake. And it just there's no tension to that. Like that could be a cool moment, but they've done it for so many of those games that you just look at it and go like even in the opening to Horizon 5, you race a cargo plane. And you beat it by a nose, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Like it's just, they've done that specific thing too much, and it's we're talking about like 5 or 6 races per game. It's not like it's like the entirety of those games, but it's usually the thing you build up to. It's like, hey, you filled up the meter with XP, and now you've unlocked the next showcase race, and you're like, I don't care, just give me the next races. Let me go drive around and do open world stuff and bang into the fast travel signs and bang into the XP signs, which all that stuff's still there. There's still a button in there for buy treasure map, which is like buying DLC that just fills in all those things on the map for you. So you don't have to go looking for them if you don't want to. They made another one of those. And I think that's cool because the Horizon games have generally been really good.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think, every time I jump into one of those, I'm always like, I feel like I'm left wanting less of the sim that it kind of can't help itself but become. I'm always wanting it to give me less of a realistic experience. I guess you're just chasing the burnout dragon for forever and ever.
Right. You want to tap the brakes and brake at the back end and drift around corners like super easily and stuff. And it's not that. It still has those Forza bones underneath it. Like it still is striving for something resembling reality.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I would. They should make a new Ridge Racer. Someone should make a new Ridge Racer.
Yes.
But
you heard it.
You mentioned this, I think, during one of the talkovers, Jeff. But it is nice to see that Mexico being portrayed in like a beautiful, positive light versus like the orange cartel tint we always see it in fucking media.
How are the drugs?
If Mexico's in a video game, it's because there's a drug tunnel somewhere. This has like like at the front of the game, there's like, all their big copyright warnings and stuff. And there is something in there for like a Ministry of Culture from Mexico and stuff that they had to go get permission for stuff to put it in there. And you find temples and stuff out there and just like cool stuff. And I'm seeing them going like, oh, cool, that's going to be a sick ramp. And like, oh, they probably didn't make it so you could just drive up and jump off the temple.
Just smash through it.
Yeah.
Like the walls and the British one, you just like drive through them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there are plenty of rock walls for you to kick the rear end through and get your physics on and all that cool stuff. So yeah, it's still that game, and I think that'll be up to individual people as to whether they want another one of that game or not, because that's it seems like what they're making. You want Windows sound effects as horns? They got you.
Cool.
All right.
I played a bit of 3. I kind of fell off on 4, so I think I'm ready for another one. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Especially on next gen stuff.
Good.
Coming soon, early November.
Yep.
Jan, tell me what Good Night is.
Good Night. It's still in early access. It's made by a small indie team. And I don't have much to say about it other than it's a Filipino-developed game, and it's a bullet hell style a game where instead of trying to like a shoot 'em up, you are a small character constantly rolling around in a circle, and as you hit the space bar, you're changing the direction. So the enemies will be on the periphery of like the outer ring that you were traveling on, and like they'll be shooting at you, but you have to like keep tapping on space to like kind of like do a wiggle back and forth or to change the direction in. You do have an attack where you can shoot their way, but most of the time in my experience, you're better served just trying to avoid everything. I'm really bad at this game.
Wild.
It hurts my eyes. They do have a lot of warnings like, hey, if you're photosensitive, maybe dig into the options, please. But it's really dope to see games coming out of the Philippines. A lot in their story mode. They have a lot of Alibata, which is like the native Filipino script written everywhere. It's really cool to see. Some of the monsters are based off of Filipino mythology. Like there's I'm pretty sure I saw a Manananggal, which is a beast in Filipino lore. Like I said, really bad at it. Hurts my eyes. I turned on the photosensitivity mode, and it was kind of cooking for a little bit. It's still in early access.
Turn the photosensitivity up or down?
I turned it all the way down, and then I was just like squinting the whole time as I was playing.
What does it do when that mode is turned on?
It's less flashy because like there's a lot of like white flashes, and then some of the particle effects get subdued, so it's not like a bunch of flashing lasers. It's just like a straight laser.
Interesting.
It's still in early access. It's kind of like a weird cell shaded PS1 art style that they're going for. I dig it a bunch, but it's just dope to see games coming out of the PI.
Are you attacking in this or mostly avoiding? Because the game it reminds me of a bit is Super Hexagon, weirdly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're mostly avoiding. You do have an attack, but like the timing on it's really weird. You can also kind of aim your shots, but it slows you down so much a bunch where it's becomes really hard to avoid all like the 50 million projectiles that are headed your way. So you're better served just like running away.
Neat. Yeah, it looks wild.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Finally, let's wrap it all up with some chatting about the Battlefield 2042 beta. I played a handful of matches, I guess. They didn't seem to end. I don't think I ever quit. I don't think I ever saw like a "you're done" screen. I kind of was just in it.
Really?
And then time went by, and I was like, "Oh, dinner's ready. I gotta go."
That's how it went for me.
Not
too.
a lot of hand holding going on in this game.
So it's like Metroid Dread.
Yeah, it's exactly like Metroid Dread.
Yeah, you can't go too
Samus
fast.
is such a badass in it. It's crazy.
If you can finish a match in under 4 hours, you get to play in the Zero suit, which is fucked up on a battlefield. But
the first time I spawned into the game, I was in some sort of attack vehicle, air vehicle, and I was manning some sort of like rocket cannon. I just couldn't get out of the thing. I couldn't leave the airplane. I hit the buttons for the parachute. Couldn't get out of it. I was in there for 20 minutes. It was crazy.
Shooting down your own helicopter?
Nope, couldn't do it. Whoever was flying it was really good at like evasive maneuvers and just, we'd get our health down to like a couple millimeters wide, and then all of a sudden we'd like, jerk in the opposite direction and watch that meter fill all the way back up. And I was just doing that for 20 minutes, and that seemed awesome. All right.
It's the future of combat.
Yeah, I guess so.
Health
regen.
Battlefield is a pretty big blind spot for me. The only one I played with any significance was 1943 on my Xbox 360.
Solid game.
Okay.
Solid game, fun. So one of you more veteranized Battlefield players, please tell me what's up with this class system. It doesn't seem like classes really did anything.
They've tried to. So I think over the course of the last handful of Battlefield games, they've gone hard swings on that stuff where the classes maybe mattered too much for me to where they don't matter at all. Like there was, I forget which one it was, but they made it so only the scout class could spot. And like I feel like spotting was one of my favorite parts of Battlefield. Just looking at stuff and going like, "Hey, there's a guy there." And so limiting.
You're helping out the team, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so the classes maybe don't seem like they matter as much now, or I don't know. I didn't spend a lot of time trying to customize any of them to see like what the loadout options were or anything like that. So I just kind of jumped in and said like, I got my stuff, let's go.
Should you delineate what a class is and what a specialist is? Because that's the other sort of side of the coin.
I have no.
That's the other thing I don't understand.
The specialists are the people. It's like dudes, right? But then can they be any class, or does a dude have to be?
I think they're
skin.
loadouts. I think they're class loadouts. Because when I did it, I could go into the class and still change stuff. I think maybe the only thing that changes is their special ability.
Yes, the grappling hook, right? Like that. Only one guy has the grappling hook.
Yeah. And you're going to see that guy and the other 3 characters in this game over and over and over. It's like a clone war. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it really is. It's only like the fucking Star Wars Battlefront. Like you just
I mean, that was going to be my next question: are the specialist hero units like in Battlefront, where like you save enough points and then you get to call in fucking hat guy, or I don't know who these guys are.
You just pick one. It's basically like the skin. So it's really strange because it means that you're one of these 4 characters basically, and you're constantly shooting yourself. Like you're seeing the same lady and guy over and over again. I guess
the final game's going to have more than 4, I think. I thought these were just the 4 that,
how many more?
Right.
Because they have 128 player matches, right? So that's the big change this time is they've done that, and then also the maps are way bigger as a result as well. That's my keyboard breaking. If you're looking in the notes, it's like destroying the giant.
Oh dear!
That's my keyboard having a.
Oh my!
Yeah, so hopefully it'll okay. I'll fix that later. But yeah, my sense of this is that like there's something missing in the. It has a lot of cool stuff, like the grappling hook is neat. Yeah. The map was cool, like fighting on top of the skyscraper was kind of interesting. But there's something missing. Like I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Chivalry 2, and I was playing Hell Let Loose that I mentioned last week. And those are games where you're constantly like on a front with a bunch of other people, so you feel like you're working with them. And the thing that like stood out to me on this one is while like the map is big and interesting and it has like these 4 different engagement areas, if you're not, you either like spawn directly into one of those areas and you're sort of like in the shit and you're like getting attacked from all sides, or I found myself running between them and just like sprinting for a long time or getting in a car for a long time and then kind of getting popped by somebody because I didn't realize I was in like a combat phase. I was in my sort of get to
Battlefield
the
shit.
Phase. Battlefield, but it's somehow more exaggerated, and I'm not sure if it's because of the scale of the maps or something. So I'm enjoying myself some of the time, and then other times they just feel like aimless. Like I never feel like I know really which part of the map we should be going for or any of that stuff. And maybe if I was
player in a
friends,
commander role that's guiding the teams around, like I don't know. It almost feels like a game that is more reliant on communication than even previous Battlefield games, and I just don't think you're going to get that. Like I feel like the button of like, hey, here's a thing over here, like the context sensitive spotting or hey, let's all run over here button is not as good as Apex is, which that's another EA game. They should look at what those guys are doing, because that stuff works incredibly well. And it just doesn't work as well here, whether it's like you have to be aimed at a thing very tightly for it to do it. And it's a beta, maybe they'll adjust the sensitivity or the specificity on that. But yeah, like I feel like the communication options felt bad, because also I never heard anyone else voice chatting, and I'm past a point of voice chatting in a video game at this point, so that's just a non-starter. So yeah, it feels hard to know where you're going, what you're supposed to do if you want to play well. So I think instead it was like, for me, it was just like, okay, I know that control point over there is not ours. I'm going to go over there and try and take it. Or I see my fire team people running around or running towards that point. I'll go with them. And so like I would take cues there as to where to go, but that never felt awesome either.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's
just weird. Like,
yeah,
it just feels kind of.
The tornado thing
like...
is like a cool thing the first time you see it, and it leads to some moments where you're like, that was some crazy shit. But like the amount of other stuff you have to do in order to get to that, and also having a match that was just that wouldn't work either. So it's like having the gimmick of, oh my God, there's a tornado. It's like it's funny twice, and then you're like, the rest of the time you're like, well, let's keep running towards B and shooting. And in some ways,
never engaging.
It's weird because in some ways that's always been Battlefield, but I think there's just There's something missing. There's something about it feels really bad. I don't know if it's the engagement distance is leading to more people playing snipers, and that's why you're in those situations where you're like, oh, I just got popped. Like the spawns and stuff. Haven't they been better about, hey, don't spawn on this guy right now because he's in the middle of a firefight?
Yeah.
Because the number of times I said, I'm going to
all the
spawn on my
time.
guy, and then I spawned and then immediately got shot in the back of the head. I was like, well, fuck this. I have to wait through this timer again, or like wait and see if I'm going to get revived, and then go through a spawn timer again. And it's just like moments like that are just going to rip people out of that game left and right.
Totally.
And it just feels like stuff that I feel like they have done better in the past. And Battlefield has been on such a weird path for the past couple of those games. It feels like since 4, they have just kind of lost their way. I mean, that's my perception of it. And it seems like, I don't know. Like I know there was a lot of complaints about the last couple that I saw over those years, but like it just doesn't feel like they have solved any of that along the way. Like they've added a bunch of crazy tech. Like it's a nice looking game, and the grappling hook is really crazy.
I love that thing. And some of the weapons, like, or the vehicles, like I really like the like hover helicopter thing. Like it adds it's like a beast. Like when that comes into one of the engagement areas, like just run. Like if you have a good pilot in that thing, it's so neat. Yeah, but you're right. There's like good stuff there. The grapple hook, I had such a blast with the grapple hook, finding stupid places to camp out and get up on roofs really easily. But like, yeah, there's just the other problem with this one is there's hardly any indoor engagements happening in this one at all, which I'm not sure if that's by design on this map or whatever. But
And
like,
this map is like that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel that squeeze you get where it's like a big area you're dominating, or then you're like rushing into the building to clear it out. Like there was none of that dynamic stuff happening. And it just, like I come to the end of the game and I go, I enjoyed the shooting in this, but like,
there's moment to moment excitement of just like, oh, I shot 2 guys and then we took the point and that was cool. But like the rest of it just feels too unwieldy, too bulky, something like that. But I don't know. I feel like the story of those last couple of games, or maybe just the last one, was just like the community being really angry about like the time to kill, and then them making adjustments to it and angering a different set of people. And it just from the outside looking in, or someone who just would dip into that game on occasion and all that stuff, just seemed like no one was ever happy with Battlefield. And now like, it seems like still no one is happy with this beta from the casual looking around I've done at that community, and then also all of us being like, it just doesn't. It seems like they haven't found it.
It's been the problem they've had since but where the mass market, like Battlefield was never a mass market game. Like it was a PC game, right? For like up until Battlefield 3, when they really started to like take on Call of Duty, and it became this sort of like, pro ev FIFA thing or whatever. One of these scenarios where you had these 2 big titans going directly for each other's markets. But that, when you ask people who are like big Battlefield fans what the Battlefield moments that they really like, it always goes back to those like really specialized maps or specialized games where it wasn't trying to be Call of Duty Warzone or whatever. And that's what a lot of people are kind of harking on with this one, where it almost doesn't, it's trying to like, it doesn't really know who it's trying to please. And in the end, it sort of pleases nobody, perhaps.
I think you nailed it with my biggest problem, Danny, which is that sense of kind of chaos. And I like a good chaotic multiplayer sometimes, but I was playing it with a squad of other friends when I was playing it, and even with communication, it was just this sort of thing of like, we as a unit didn't even know what we were supposed to be doing. Like as a unit, we had no clear direction. I'm sure if it was like, if we played for another 20 hours, we would understand the map better and the finer points of things, but there was like no onboarding of that.
Commander mode, man. They solved that problem. Put a player in the driver's seat for the whole team and tell them where to go. It was a crazy idea.
Commander. Shut up! I'm trying to command. Okay, sorry, my kid fell in the pool. I gotta go.
But it wasn't even that. It would just like, it would dynamically just show up like, here are your orders. Go to this control point and take it. It didn't even have to be some asshole going like, hey, fucking play right, dick. Though I think it could be that also.
What?
There's something else. Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say like, again, like I feel like I don't know if this came from them saying like this is a very early, right, sort of version of the game that is way older than what we have now, or something to that effect. So I think a little bit of,
gameplay is the gameplay. Like you can say that if you're talking about,
But I say that around the context of like this demo feels like it's somehow leaked out and no one's stopping it. Like it feels like it's just out there and everyone's playing it and kind of being confused and yeah.
I mean, they went through that delay.
Had high
it's not a huge delay, but
as well.
Yeah. Yes,
people
for sure.
People were looking forward to this one more than some of the other ones, right? So I think it's expectation meeting reality a little bit.
It trailered real well, but
in other shooters, I think of like not necessarily like I don't think Call of Duty is doing a good job of making its case this year, and so I think you maybe have more players out there that are just like a little lost. They're just like, well, maybe Battlefield, like that's the situation I was in, of just like maybe Battlefield will be really awesome this time. Like these trailers look neat. I have loved Battlefield games in the past, and the last couple sort of shit the bed in different ways. Like hopefully this will be them getting it together and really making an awesome return. And it just doesn't seem like they did. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe some of the other modes, because that's kind of like one of three, and also obviously
I feel like the Portal. There's a lot of hope being leaned on that part of the game, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, there you have it. Those are the games we're playing. We're also what are we gonna do? We're gonna play some Jackbox later this week.
Is there a new one?
There's the new one, baby.
Man, could have used that last year.
Yeah, totally.
Actually, no, I take that back. Nobody was coming over. This is actually the right time to do it. Sorry.
Well, I mean, we're gonna be playing it remotely. So that's that'll be fun. And then maybe some Back for Blood, right? And maybe a hockey game. Maybe.
Yeah, what? This was not discussed during Monday. What?
Anyway, we'll see. But we'll get into news after the break. Stick around.
Hey, you trying to keep your hair? Is it maybe getting a little starting to fall out here? The best way to keep your hair is to prevent it from falling out in the first place, and that's where Keeps comes in, because they offer both of the 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Prevention. You know what I mean? It's a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. They've got convenient virtual doctor consultations, and the medications get delivered straight to your door every 3 months, so you don't have to leave the house. Leaving the house. Who wants to do that? Yuck. Outside. Ugh. It's low cost. Treatments start at just $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions to help keep those costs nice and low. It comes in a discreet package. The results are proven. These are FDA-approved medications. This is the real deal. This isn't like, you're not like... This isn't like truck stop. You're not going like up to the counter at a convenience store and be like, what's this? What's in this? Who knows? I don't know. It's got the Street Fighter man on it. It must be good. No, this is like the real deal stuff. Tested, approved, all of that. And prevention is key. The treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results. So act now. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/bomb to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/bomb. To get your first month free, keeps.com/bomb. Grubhub. No, not that. Different one. Grubhub serves restaurants because Grubhub loves restaurants, from the food to the passion and determination of the people behind them. A restaurant's reputation matters, and Grubhub knows that, and they don't want to mess that up by offering a bad delivery service. Grubhub wants to offer good delivery service, delivering that food fast and fresh and exactly how you and the restaurants intended it to be. Because restaurants work hard to serve their customers, and Grubhub works hard to serve them. You know what I mean? You don't always have time to make food, to make it happen, We've all been there. You're like, I have a lot of things. There's too much going on. I need to make sure food shows up here that is ready to eat right now. That's where Grubhub comes in, because again, Grubhub serves restaurants. They work hard to serve those restaurants so that they can work hard to serve you. And today, Grubhub is doing a little bit extra to serve Panera. You can get a free delivery perk on your first order from Panera of $15 or more. Get a soup, like a bread bowl soup or something. They do that's like a sandwich. You get like a grilled cheese, dip it in the soup. Whatever you're doing, they'll bring it to your house. You can order it through the Grubhub app or online. Grubhub, we serve restaurants.
Hey, welcome back. Had to take a seat for this next segment as we pivot into the news.
Ooh. No, oh, that's the wrong music.
News.
Oh yeah, the news.
News.
Yeah.
News.
Some news.
Congratulations to me, the new lead singer of Smash Mouth.
Yes, congratulations, Jeff.
Congrats,
Jeff,
Congrats.
can
That
you
was quick.
Can you
I don't know
confirm
if
that
you'll
you're
ever
not
live
going to
up.
be drunk and throwing out like white nationalist movements at the next show?
I mean, it is a Smash
Judging
Mouth
by your last
show.
one, I don't
think
know.
isn't that what the people want? I don't. I mean, I wasn't
the
planning
people-
on doing one of those things.
It's on brand now, though. So
Yeah, they've signed to Panzerfaust.
You can do what you want. It's that's the beauty of only playing like ironic corporate parties where they've hired you because for the lulls. So you can do whatever
Right.
you want, except that obviously. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, I was at a
you don't get
corporate.
the callback for that. Yeah.
I was at a corporate tech thing filming, and then they brought out the Fray, and then the Fray proceeded to play that one song that they're really
song?
well
Oh,
known for.
God.
I forget what it is. They played it
Is it
3
How to
times.
Save a Life?
How to Save a Life.
They played How to Save a Life 3 times
3 times.
They played it 3
in
times
a row because
That
oh my
is the
God.
saddest
In a
fucking
row
thing
is
I've
the-
ever
You
heard.
went wrong playing the song 3 times.
Yeah,
That's like in The Wedding Singer when they redo the fucking the George Michael song. That's unbelievable.
yeah, and then they start throwing out T-shirts the second time they were playing it. It doesn't seem like a T-shirt throwing song.
no.
And then it wasn't anyone in the Fray that was throwing the T-shirts. I think they were like tech employees on stage as well.
I think it's Street
And then-
Team up on stage.
And then I had like the camera over my
Awesome.
shoulder, and I was thinking like, "Oh, this is really easy." And I was sipping on a beverage. Said tech employee proceeds to like be super hyped throwing T-shirts that they grab my beer, throw it out into the audience.
Was it in a glass?
Okay.
No, it was in like a can, so we're okay.
Okay.
I have so many questions. I mean, so after the first time they played the song and it went into the beginning of the song again, what was the vibe? Like, what was the look on everyone's face? Were they just like,
These
Play it
tech
again.
people, they were like
And they-
moshing,
okay,
like soft moshing, like
soft, nothing like a good
Soft mosh.
meal of
I really
soft mosh.
love a good
Wearing
soft
a suit,
mosh.
business cash, listening to the Fray.
getting those T-shirts in the crowd and putting it over your shirt and tie because that's always a good look of just like I'm representing the brand.
Salesforce,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah, right.
My
Well-
goodness. All right,
Don't you
Ben
miss
Pack,
it?
please.
Speaking
Sorry
of
for
massive
derailing.
holiday parties, I feel like the this year's Twitch holiday party might be have a little awkward moments here and there.
What could you
Celebrating
ever
finally
miss?
going open source. Yeah.
You guys see the news?
No, what happened?
Oh.
Twitch got leaked. What got leaked?
What?
Twitch.
All of Twitch?
All of it.
Everything
Like, where'd it come out of?
All of it. It came out of the dark.
came out of everywhere.
Where
Yeah.
it came from.
Just
There's
leaking.
no group that has
Just
taken responsibility for this massive Twitch leak. Yeah, all their data's out there. I'm just going to run down here. We'll talk about it in depth a little bit, but this is a bullet point list of things that were leaked from an article on The Verge. 3 years worth of details regarding creator payouts, the entirety of Twitch.tv's code with commit history going back to its early beginnings. You know, commit history is usually here's all the things we've added and changed and fixed.
Oh.
And so it's going to be a very detailed log of their code. Source code for the mobile, desktop, and video game console Twitch clients, code related to proprietary SDKs and internal AWS services, an unreleased Steam competitor from Amazon Game Studios called Vapor, data on Twitch properties like IGDB and CurseForge, and Twitch's internal security tools.
This seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. It's
160 some
reading up on this
gigabyte
last
of
week,
info. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like perhaps Twitch didn't have amazing security.
yeah.
and
Gosh.
didn't there was a story of there were like ex-employees that still had staff access to that code base years after the fact, and like weird stuff like that just like they just were lax with it, a little too broed out to fix it.
And none of this stuff should be like centralized. So like presumably
That's
what they're
what I'm
doing
saying.
is getting access to like one server, and then there's like details for a repo somewhere else, and then they're able to so like all this stuff. Like how long was this person in there as well? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like obviously
months.
the scale
I
of the
mean-
company, or like nobody ever noticed. Like it's
That's what I can't wrap my head around. Like this wasn't just all in a folder and someone just like grabbed that. Like this, and if it was centralized, like you put it, like how?
I bet it was a culture of like in the way that we have all heard stories from Twitch, that there is just a culture there of nobody wants to take responsibility for anything. Everything's great. We're making money. Nobody wants to solve any problem. Like it's a lot of new people coming in, a lot of junior people going to higher positions. It's just a bit of a it's a corporate shit show that is there to make money. And like I'm sure there were people on this team who understood that this was a problem. I'm sure if you were working on the back end, you knew all too aware of the security issues. The fact that clearly for years none of this was ever fixed. I mean, they were hacked before. Remember, they were hacked like 5 or 6 years ago as well.
Right,
So
yes,
it's not like this is the first time this has happened. It's just like the laissez-faire attitude. It's
Yeah, and in the initial stuff that got leaked out, there wasn't any kind of like user credentials or passwords or anything like that. But like you don't know what. I mean, if they got all this stuff, you presume they got it all. So Twitch's response was to like kind of send out emails saying like, "Hey, you should reset your stream key."
They automatically did for everyone eventually.
Yeah.
Out of an abundance of caution.
Yeah, I've not heard of
yeah.
any cases of this data being used to compromise accounts or anything. I haven't seen anything like that.
The hackers apparently have stripped out a lot of like personal information just to make sure that there's anything that's released doesn't have phone numbers, addresses, or any of that stuff.
A lot of that creator payout stuff.
The payout stuff is huge. I was just going to say another good reason to turn on two-factor for as many services as you can.
100%. Yeah. I mean, what were you going to say about the
creator payout stuff seems like the most potentially sensitive, I guess.
But it's all isn't that all public? Like, couldn't you do the math yourself if you really wanted to?
I don't think they show, like if you were monitoring someone's stream to see how often people subscribed or something like that, you could probably parse it.
So that was
I feel like
well, hold on. Subscriber numbers are not inherently public. Subscriber numbers. A lot of top streamers display their subscriber numbers. A lot of them have sub goals, right? Like at 2,500 subs, I'm going to do this big event or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can sort of math that out, but there was no good data and like it's like $5 a month, right, for tier ones. Everyone, it's kind of across the board, or Twitch Prime or whatever. But what nobody really had any solid understanding on were payouts from like ads and payouts from other stuff that wasn't as direct. And now the data that got out about like how much people has earned for a while, you could track it pretty clearly. There was like a kind of somebody built like a leaderboard site that was promptly taken down. What those numbers that people are seeing, the like $9 million for the top streamer stuff, that is Twitch payouts directly from what was it, like October 2019 to now, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like an annual number. It was like a year and a half.
Total
compounded.
Twitch payout
3
from
years, 3 years.
Subscriptions, ads, and one other
I don't
thing.
think it included tips or anything because
I don't think like donos and stuff or
no donations, obviously no sponsorship deals, no like, hey, play our game and we'll give you $10,000, like stuff like that.
It's probably ads and subs, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
probably.
because they also get the ad revenue too. So
Referral stuff, perhaps that might have been in there because they
Yeah.
added all that referral stuff in 2019.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
To
Might have
Amazon.
been bits. I don't know if bits were. I mean, they said donations weren't in there, but I don't know if bits qualify as that or not because bits does. I mean, that's all stuff
I
that
think
routes
Bits-
through Twitch's
I think
payment
Bits
system.
did go through there,
Yeah.
yeah. Because donations
So-
typically go through a different.
Yeah, it'll be like someone
system.
sets up stream elements or something like that, and it's an external service and all that. But
And that's the other thing is that a lot of these folks would have favorable rates against the baseline, so they're going to
Yes.
be getting a higher percentage of all
Right.
of that stuff across the board.
yeah, I think the breakdown I saw was someone trying to break it down against the average like median salary in the United States, and trying to figure out like, okay, how many people on Twitch are earning above that line, and the number was like less than just under 2,000 streamers
Well,
were
yeah.
earning more than 52 grand a year.
Yes, the article in the Washington Post kind of went into that, and of the 10,000 top streamers, only about 7,500 made minimum wage.
Ooh.
And that's, of course, there's about 9 million people have streamed on Twitch, and when you think about how 7,500 of them are making minimum wage, when like
Or
I'm not
better,
gonna sit
right?
here
I mean,
and-
like it's 7,500 are
it's like, it
making
goes
that
like
or
this,
more.
and then
yeah.
it goes like
Yes,
that.
of
It
course.
goes like
Yeah.
way up. I'm not going to sit here and say like everyone who streams on Twitch should make minimum wage. I think it's just interesting that this is obviously Twitch does a big deal of promoting their top creators and being like, look at this lavish lifestyle. You could maybe have this. A lot of streamers are working more than 40 hours a week
Oh yeah,
and not making
Yeah.
that minimum wage. Like people are streaming
sounds
every
more.
day for 8 hours a
Ugh.
day and not even getting close to that. I think
Moving
it's-
into a streaming house to continue streaming
Yes.
with other
There
you
people
go.
streaming.
that's
Well, that's
the
true.
real
Yeah.
world.
Yes. Yeah, that to me was like the biggest thing. Obviously, it was interesting to see like what the top like 10 Twitch streamers make, and you see like $9 million, $8 million, $7 million, or whatever, and you see that, and your first impression is like, oh my god, these kids are making millions. Twitch, holy cow! And then you scroll down that list, and it just drops and drops and
Of a
drops and drops and
cliff.
drops and drops and drops.
There's a hard cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I don't think that's surprising.
Yeah.
And,
Not at
and you know, when you talk about the 9 million or however many people have streamed to Twitch, like ton of those people are just doing it to do it, and they're streaming for one person, two people. You know, they're not trying to get out there and build an audience or whatever. They're just having fun, fucking around. So, but yeah, this is just a different version of that esports story. That I feel like happened in the biggest sense a handful of years ago, where it was like, hey, did you know that like StarCraft 2 players, there's only like, you know, less than 1% of them make minimum wage, or, you know, like all that sort of stuff. In that world, that it wasn't that different. So you kind of look at it and you go like, that makes total logical sense when you see it spelled out, but you don't see it spelled out often enough. So you know, it's easy to think like, oh, plenty of people are making their way with Twitch stuff. Especially they tried to make a big deal about changing the partnership stuff to make it like, oh, if you kind of meet these goals, we will eligible to apply for partnership. And then, you know, what that entails and the restrictions that Twitch puts upon you about what you can and can't do if you are partnered up, and the exclusivity that they get as a part of that default agreement. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's not shocking, but it doesn't make this space.
Seeing
look
it laid
amazing.
out,
Yeah.
seeing it laid out on the page is that kind of assumption, like you're saying. Like I assumed the vast majority of people who stream on Twitch don't make a lot of money, but then literally being able to look at those numbers it's a real
like emperor's. It's a real emperor's new clothes kind of moment, you know, where you're kind of like, oh yeah, because like you said, nothing particularly. If you sat there and thought about it for a second, it's like absolutely. But when the prevailing narrative that is sold to you by Twitch and by big streamers and by just like the culture of obviously the big streamers and those big moments being news stories, and the, you know, infinite number of people who aren't making it, you know, never appearing anywhere, you sort of, you know, in a background sense, you sort of, buy into it a little bit. That like, oh yeah, it's this, grassroots thing. It's like, it doesn't matter that like the top 50 people are, probably 40 of them were in the top 55 years ago as well. It's like,
right, yeah.
There's no space either. It's like,
yeah, and you see people saying like, "Oh, why does Twitch just promote the big streamers? I thought they said they were all about the little streamer." Like, no, why would they be? Like, like from a community sense, of course they have plenty of reasons to be, but they're a business. They're in the business of putting the big stuff on the homepage to try to get people to get in there and see all the ads, because those big streams are going to be the ones with the most ads and the most profitable ads, because sponsors don't want to come in and buy ad inventory on a stream that's like two guys watching it while one guy tells you about how vaccines are killing people. That's what advertisers are scared of, like that type of experience on Twitch. So they're going to say like, hey, we only want to be on the streams you're vetting, the ones that you're like ultra partnered with and that you view as super safe.
Yeah, I've watched Twitch streamers talk about that specifically in terms of like the reason if you're watching lower to mid to low tier streamers, often you see the same ads over and over. It's because those companies are buying ads for cheap, saying like, we know we're not going to be on XQC, we're not going to be on Shroud, we're going to be on these like low tier ones, and the low tier people scoop up those ads because they're the only ads available, and you see those ad nauseum. But then the big sponsors obviously are going to take out spots in like big esports events and then like the top 10 streamers. And that's kind of it.
Yeah. And that's, we went through a similar thing with YouTube around that stuff too, when it was like, people were worried about the adpocalypse and all this other stuff and demonetizing channels around content and stuff that, probably should happen in a sense. But it was that same deal of like, you've got advertisers that only want to put their brand near things that are extremely well vetted, and Twitch is, obviously going to be in a similar situation of like doing that for their clients. So, I think this just kind of exposes things that, like, I think if you sat down and thought about it for a bit, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's probably exactly how Twitch works. And seeing like what there was Twitch, they were trying to do a thing recently that was like, users on your stream can pay to promote you. Like they can, like they put money into a thing that then goes to serving you a little higher up in some algorithm somewhere else or something.
You get boosted. It's like dating websites. You just you pay into some
super
boost
swipe
time. Yeah, so you get featured more. I mean,
that just seems like that should be an inherent under the hood thing of Twitch looking at it and going like, well, this guy's making a spike of more money. Maybe we should put it in front of more people because we get a cut of that. So maybe we should just promote it anyway. It just, I don't.
There are also reports coming out a week ahead of the leak that a lot of the like not top 10, but let's call them like 100, like whatever, 15 through 200, those creators are starting to get squeezed out even more because Twitch has won the streaming war. Like for a while, like YouTube was throwing around money and everyone was throwing around money, and so Twitch was like, okay, we'll pump up these numbers, we'll pay you more. But now that they're the clear winners, like a lot of mid to large but not super sized streamers are starting to notice less revenue from more viewers, which is
we need Mixer now more than ever.
We
it ain't gonna be Trovo Live.
Facebook Live is guy. If you want to go watch some people playing trucking games, that's where you need to go. But the other side of this, like from the business perspective, is like Twitch is like that sort of like bottom feeder realm, which apparently is like all of us, like just like the bottom 90% or whatever. They're not. I don't think they're making any money off that. Like streaming is expensive, and they have the economies of scale to be able to like run that because they're Amazon and they own the planet. But like also like I wonder when that shoe's gonna drop, when they're gonna be like, well, there's no money being made. It's clearly looks like it's exploitative, even though we're not earning from it. So let's just like, I don't know, snip this whole part of the service out. Because like most, what was it? There was all these numbers coming out where like most people are streaming to like fewer than 5 people or something.
Right.
So like,
but I don't. But how? I just don't know how. I have a tough time understanding why that would just stop. I mean, that's been going on for years and years.
Same way music has, where like the pipeline for now, if you want to be a pop star, is be born rich and like be able to like
I'm not saying like
this from as a child.
Yeah. I mean,
you buy into it. They'll gatekeep it with money. Like, I don't know. I wonder if like a couple years down the line, that's what it'll be.
Like, is there a version of Twitch where they say like, oh yeah, you want to stream on Twitch? You've got to pay us $9.99 a month, and then that will get you unlimited stream time. Otherwise, anyone can run a stream for 45 minutes, and then it will automatically end unless
48p for 480p.
Right.
Oh god.
Yeah. Like, is there a version where they flip it in that way? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think Twitch's main thing is keeping you in that on that platform. Like if you're just bouncing around, like
most people are viewers though, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. They want the viewer. They want you staying just the way
but
YouTube
they want the
wants you
viewer
staying
on the high
inside
ticket
YouTube.
channels. They don't care about the account that is streaming to 2 people. In fact, that's a resource drain on them. Like they probably have to put up with it for now because community wise, it would be a nightmare to.
But they're betting that they can get you and volley you up to that high stream.
Sure.
Like that essentially seems like
like if you're watching that channel and you create an account, then they put these other accounts in front of you often enough, eventually you end up on one. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
If you think about it long enough, like that's essentially what rating is kind of like the secret behind what the illusion of that is just to kind of like push everyone through the train door and sort of keep it going. Yeah.
But if you have 100 channels, it's like cable. If you have 400 channels on cable or you have 40,000 channels, like there's a redundancy at a certain point where it's like,
sure,
you can cut all these off and it would probably make the experience maybe even more advantageous for people to jump through, I
So
wonder if
you're
it'll
saying
just
we
become
get
less
everyone who
sexy
wants
as
to
well.
stream on an island, make them compete against each other with some like games or something, and then the winner can stream for.
This is why Jake
$88
Paul is
million.
learning how to fight, so that he can be prepared.
That's it.
This is why this is happening. But like Facebook is still like I still get press releases about Facebook's live streaming stuff. Like they are still attempting to do something there. Like I think they just signed some deal about music rights that the thing that Twitch has been putting off for a long time about figuring out streaming music. Like Facebook's trying to do better there, but I don't think that's going to move the needle for them. I mean, whatever. Facebook's
Twitch
got
signed one.
a lot of other shit going on right now to worry about that.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, so pretty slow week. This was obviously the biggest story. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a leak like this massive. I think
like other than the E3 stuff.
This is
right?
unbelievable.
This is
it's embarrassing, just like the
scale
stuff
of
they got.
it,
Yeah,
scope of it.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Couple long time Sega folk are piecing out. The series director and producer of the Yakuza series, Toshihiro Nagaoshi and Daisuke Sato, are both moving on from Sega. If you've never seen Nagaoshi, he's the dude who looks like he could be in a Yakuza game.
Like his decades long glow up to get to that point. I
was reading his Wikipedia and somebody asked him about his fashion. He's like, I just do whatever my girlfriend tells me.
Oh yeah, look at this dude. Is this like
Smart.
He's like the
Smart.
Japanese Jay Allard.
Sharp. Sure. Maybe a little less of the baggage, but maybe more. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's been with Sega forever. He started out in Virtual Racer, I think was his first game, which was even before Virtua Fighter.
Okay. Yeah.
And long history.
Not a
there.
lot of people with that length of time left at Sega these days. I feel like they had risen up to run that franchise, and that franchise became one of the biggest. I feel like the Yakuza games are it's like the last bastion of classic Sega in a lot of ways, right? I mean, that and I guess Sonic, I don't know. But Yakuza felt like the last game they had that truly had style. When you think about that Dreamcast era, Dreamcast into the PS2, kind of Sega getting out of the hardware business, and the Sega having all its named studios, UGA and Amusement Vision, and just all the AM2 and just all the different teams, and how much each one of them seemed to have their own thing going on, and how cool that all was. Yakuza in a lot of ways felt like one of the last among the last franchises that still had some of that spirit left in it.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
How cool! How cool is it for them as well that in the past few years, like that series has really just had, it's reached its zenith. Like it found a bigger audience than it ever had before. Found an audience in the West. It's been a sort of a new console thing to look forward to as well. Like you don't see that very often, the sort of slow rise of a series over the course of decades, but
especially when you think about how clunky those early games were and how the localizations were in the West. Like some of that stuff was rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
I don't know if it was in this article or another one talking about it, but it did the Ryuga Gotoku confirmed basically that there will be another Like a Dragon game, even without the leadership there, and they did confirm that it is going to stick to the RPG combat system of the first game.
I think there are other people on that team that are relative long timers. So they're not necessarily leaving it in no hands whatsoever. But I imagine, like Danny, like you're saying, they realized it, right? They solved the problem. Hey, how do we get more people to care about these games? Like they made it happen. And I think part of it was players growing into appreciating different styles of games here in the West, but also they stuck at it and stuck with it and made it happen. I could see this being a point where you're like, all right, our work here is done. New challenges. Let's go somewhere else and do it all over again. Yeah, man, it's long time.
You know what else is a long time? 20 years.
What's that?
Oh man, don't age me.
You know what happened 20 years ago?
Oh,
a little game
9/11?
called.
Yeah, that's yeah.
All that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. 9/11 happened. Let's get into it. Where were you on 9/11?
I was asleep.
Yeah,
I was
too.
10.
They're releasing a GTA trilogy. GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas.
GTA 3, a game that had to be delayed because of 9/11.
Yep.
It's been rumored for a while. I feel like I remember hearing this rumor off and on. But yeah, they're putting out a GTA collection. It's going to have Vice City, San Andreas, and GTA 3, and it's coming to like every platform: PS5, PS4, Switch, Xbox, PC.
No glow ups though. Is there a little bit of graphical stuff going on, or
A little
bit, yeah.
A little bit of gameplay stuff, but they said they want to keep it as true to the original as they can.
I think there's some of those games will be hard to go back to. I think GTA 3 in particular, the shooting and so there was a long road for those games from 3 to 5 of making that shooting feel good and modern and acceptable in a way that made it really hard to go back to GTA 3 and Vice City. And San Andreas, they kind of started to get there, if I remember right. But so yeah, I would hope that they would at least take the time to modernize that stuff up to a certain point and unify it across the 3 games. Because they were, that stuff wasn't standardized then, and it is now in a more major way. So hopefully they do more. Hopefully the music situation, the licensed music situation is good. I feel like every time they
I wonder how that's going to go.
These games, there's one fewer deal in place, and one, like, some songs get taken out. Like they patched like some re-release of San Andreas at one point to take a station out and all this other stuff. They're also taking other versions of the game off sale, I believe, this week to make room for this. So hopefully these versions are good, because they're going to make it harder to get the other ones. Not that there aren't like a zillion PS2 discs, like, like people walking in the streets tripping over PS2 copies of these 3 games. There's so many of them that they made. Goddamn. Those games are pretty good. I don't know. I feel like what time Vice City came out, like I feel like 3 was just like completely outclassed in every way, like stylistically and gameplay wise and all this other stuff that 3 became immediately ancient in terms of how it played, and storytelling and all this other stuff. These are big games. This was let's say Rockstar at its most difficult to deal with. was once 3 came out and was as big as it was. It was they became
full of themselves. Yeah,
they went in full that you don't name yourself Rockstar if you don't. They came in a little full of themselves in ways that like were weird at the time, but made sense once they really blew up. But
yep.
I've spent the past few weeks talking to a lot of DMA people for a no clip thing, and the sort of post Lemmings or GTA the when they ballooned after when they were doing GTA 1 and a bunch of other stuff, Space Station, Silicon Valley, and all that stuff. They really went from a small crew to a big crew in like very little time.
Yeah, I bet.
Changed.
I never played these games. I'm excited to check them out. I've been playing quite a bit of Saints Row 2 recently. Randomly on Game Pass, I downloaded Saints Row 2 because I needed something a little mindless, and it's something fun going about to that very specific time in video games. It's nostalgic in a way that like you don't really get anymore. It was a little disconcerting when like the first mission is like kill all these homeless people who have set up in your old headquarters. I'm like,
shit.
Okay, yeah, there's definitely going to be some shit in this game that has not aged too well. But the gameplay is just.
Has anyone? Have you played Saints Row 1 before? Because I feel like that game was way more self-serious as well, wasn't it? Like, wasn't 2 sort of like when they were in on the gag themselves? I felt like the first one was like.
One was like they were trying to make a GTA clone, and they had online multiplayer before GTA did, and that was like kind of a big deal. But it was like a lifeless GTA clone in a lot of ways. That like I think they were going for humor. God, it's been a long time, but it was self-serious in a lot of ways. But I think they still had
every game jumped a little bit into the more absurd.
Yeah,
like one was like a pretty bare like. GTA, we're doing GTA.
Right.
2 is like, we're doing GTA, but you can drive a poop truck. Check it out. It's funny. And then 3 was like, you're chopping up dudes in a wrestling ring to holding out for a hero.
Yeah. I feel like 3 was where they finally like carved out enough of their own
style
thing. To
same.
Saints Row 2 is like they started to have more of their own identity and stuff, but like gameplay and across the board upgrades, all that other stuff. Like the third,
they really hit their stride. Yeah.
I guess they had to because GTA start coming out, so they had
to. Exactly. Yeah, they're like, well, what are we gonna do if we can't just keep making these because they're making those. Yeah, for sure.
My character in Saints Row 2 it looks like the Joker, but has huge cans. It's great. Moving on. Don't want to spend too much time on this next video or this next story. I thought it was a little fun video that Valve put out showing off customizing the Steam Deck. Specifically, they showed off replacing the thumbsticks with just 2 other thumbsticks and replacing the SSD. It's cool. And they in the video, they got into the fact that they are going to have aftermarket stuff to buy, but like they're like, it's like messing with a PC. You can open this bad boy up and do whatever you want to it, but you might hurt yourself, like just know that when you're messing with this thing, it can fuck you up.
Like shock you?
You want different thumbsticks? Risk your life.
That's right.
Why would they, what about it? I mean, can't you just take the battery out and not die? Like how does...
No, they're going to show it's going to shoot darts at you. You have to, like,
duck. It's like booby trapped.
Yeah. There, one piece of Gabe Newell's knife collection will be included on the inside of every Steam Deck, and it's up to you to determine if you're going to find it safely or not.
I don't like this fucking Dexter ass, like,
with the black gloves. Yeah.
You're like, what are we doing here?
It seems like, the thing they just threw up on screen, if you're not watching the video version, was like the idea that like, hey, the battery can,
sure.
They said, like literally say the battery might ignite on fire if it's damaged, which that's true.
I feel like
it seems like something a lawyer would say.
Right. So don't take a hammer to the battery. Is that the safe advice?
Don't mess around
through the battery.
Yeah, don't set the battery on fire if you can help it.
We know
no
disposing of a battery in a fire pit is attractive in a lot of ways, but
oh yeah,
maybe don't do that.
Oh man, he's got his static electricity guard. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
oh my
it.
god, that
I have
wristband.
not worn
He's
a
ready.
static wristband in 20 years.
Since
Did not know that was
they
a thing.
made me in a class. Since then, no,
Why
have
does he
not.
have a gold companion cube? You see that?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not
Top
alone.
left. Top
Everyone
left.
gets
Steam.
that when you work at Valve. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought this was a good sign of where they're going with this. They know what people want from this thing. They know that
Yeah,
people
that's
are gonna
cool,
wanna
actually.
customize it. Yeah.
One
Wow, there's
person
all
at
the-
Valve knows that. they all work independently. Some person decided they're going to
Right.
make this video.
No one
and
wheeled
that's
their
why-
desk over to that guy's
Yeah.
desk, though, so he's the only person with that knowledge. The
Yeah,
rest
wow,
of the
it's-
people
I
have
mean,
this
no
auto
updates
chess
for
thing.
TF2. Yeah.
It's pretty wild how I mean, I guess this is accessible. I mean, there's
Oh my god.
a lot of
I don't know. Those
I
are
don't
some
know
pretty
once,
small screws, man.
yeah, once
Yeah.
once you take out that, stick PCB, I feel like I've entered the hot zone, and
Yep.
and I don't know how
Yeah, no, not for
user
me.
friendly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, and now I have to remove some sort of tape. I don't know.
No, but not fully. You just want to peel it back.
Just-
Oh my god.
Just peel it back to get
Yeah, no
access to the
thanks.
screws.
Jeff installing
Oh.
the PS5 hard drive was about as far as I want to go with this stuff. It's-
Yeah, that's
The next step, this guy takes out like a soldering iron, and you're like, okay,
okay.
okay.
It's easy. It's easy.
He just pulled out a thing of GAC? That's weird.
What? You put the GAC on the battery?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
how
what
what
it stops you from
is
shooting
it
GAC
up.
thermal paste? What?
Nickelodeon had so
GAC.
much of it,
Yeah.
Oh no.
And the last story that I personally wanted to touch on,
oh
this
my
was
God.
mostly for me and Jan. I feel like Neopets are back in NFT
Jesus.
form.
Nice.
Oh,
Great.
That's
Jesus.
right.
Great.
Oh
Great.
boy.
Neopets Metaverse Collection. You can make your. You
I
can
saw
get
this and
your
felt
own-
bad for you both. I saw this
Yeah.
like last
You know,
week or something. I was like, oh,
Thanks.
Poor
So
guys.
I was surprised by a few things but outside of the NFT aspect of this, which was that Neopets is still going despite large chunks of the site still relying on Flash, which doesn't work anymore, as they
Wow.
quote continue to work on an HTML5 version. Of Neopets.
Good for them.
They only had 2 years of heads up.
yeah.
That Flash was going to get killed.
Right.
But yeah, you can get an NFT for Neopets. It sucks.
And then is Neopets still some kind of front operation for? Is it Scientology? What's
it?
the deal?
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah,
that
it's
could
tied
be
to a
the-
church. I think we got
Oh, I
into
didn't
this
know
last
that.
time Neopets
Yeah.
got brought up.
So the NFT
Yeah.
aspect is like somehow not the weirdest part of this, I guess.
According
wanna
to
read
Jelly. Yeah, have you got the quote from jellyneo.net
No, please.
in that article? This is obviously this is the Neopets #1 community and fan site. They say the Neopets community overwhelmingly rejects the new NFT cash grab project. We're hard pressed finding someone outside the NFT community that wants this, which you could argue, to editorialize, is the case for all NFTs.
That's right. That's
They're
my people
suckering
right
a limited
there.
number of people, and
Right.
yeah.
I do want to read this line to counterpoint to Danny. I think this will get a lot of people really excited. Collectors and fans will have the opportunity to acquire one of 20,500 equally unique, algorithmically generated, lovable Neopets NFTs with variable backgrounds, assets, clothing, and personality. 7 varying trait categories. Are you guys excited? You could get
I'm excited for them to
happy,
take 3 million and just
sad.
head off to the Cayman Islands. Yes, very excited.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Good on 'em.
Ugh.
Good on
Yeah.
'em.
Good luck.
For-
Good luck. Good luck.
literally
Godspeed.
selling off chunks of your childhood for money.
Ben, did we touch on Neopets at all during that Goodbye Flash stream?
I don't think so. I don't think we talked about Neopets much. I think there was just a mutual understanding that we were both of age and online at the time.
Yeah. The look we give each other, it's like the acknowledging like Neopets.
You can tell.
A
You
little
guys have
Neopets
there's a
nod.
thing about you. I'd say it's a smell, but I can sense it through the screen.
It's
even.
an aura. Yeah.
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 If not Neopets, is there any IP that you would buy an NFT for? You'd be like, oh, I don't like NFTs, but you know what? That's pretty cool.
No.
No, they
No.
did John Cena NFTs. Like WWE got into it, and it doesn't sound like they all sold. So
No.
like, there are even some suckers that are like drawing a line and being like, "No, that's too far for me, man."
Or John Cena couldn't sell his
Yeah.
NFTs.
So
Fred Durst NFT. Get some red cap. Get your own red cap.
If I could get a Lou Bega NFT, he auctions off one of each of the women he mentions in Mambo number 5.
That's fucking amazing.
That's pretty good.
I'm in.
Good job, Ben.
I got
I'll
a
take
big
one.
crate of CDs at a yard sale, and I was digging through them, and one of them is a single for Mambo number 5, but it was I guess he was, before he called himself Lou Bega, he was Latin Lou and the Mambo All-Stars.
Ooh,
Okay.
are you
I
sure
think
maybe
that's-
it's not
I
like
think is a much
a
fun
cover?
Are you sure
that's
it's not
like
a
some
cover?
Walmart
Yeah.
style bootleg.
Yeah.
Like,
Did it have
thing.
Mambo 1 through 4 though?
It had
Mambo number 6.
2 radio edits, or 2 edits of Mambo.
Did it have the Radio Disney
different?
Mambo
Oh,
number
well,
5?
if they were on radio.
Oh my
What
god!
What was
I
he?
think
What
you
was he
guys are
singing about
right.
in the Disney one?
He mentions like all the characters.
Yeah.
iCarly and
No.
Catalog and-
in my life.
Has he had sex with all these characters?
I don't want to know what he's
that's the
doing.
implication. That's the implication.
So Lou
Jeff,
Bega
you wanted
is
to
the
talk
original.
about-
Batman
Okay.
gets around.
Yeah.
Lou Bega-
A little bit,
Talk about Metroid.
a little
He's
bit
the
of
original
Mickey.
Sora. He's the
Batman
original
v
Sora.
Scatman.
Irish listeners really enjoyed that little bit of Mickey shout out there.
We really need to talk. We really need to talk about something not controversial. Go ahead, Jeff. You want to talk about?
Okay, so
Metroid?
this Metroid stuff that broke over the weekend, so none of this is new, but like I feel like we've been working up to a flashpoint where at some point there's going to be some moment that blows up and reminds people that like, hey, people have been working on Switch emulators, and remember that Switch hack that happened some time ago in the initial run of consoles that are just blown wide open? Like there was eventually going to be some moment where all that lined up in a way that made it hit news all over again, and it did because the couple of
thank you, Kotaku. Yeah.
the couple of emulators. No, this was going around before they reported on it.
True, but
the couple of Switch emulators out there are both able to run Metroid Dread at basically release day. And this matters for a handful of reasons. There's the business implications. What does this mean for Nintendo and all this other stuff? And there's the moral panic around it, which, look, the law is the law. But the distinction that I think that some people are not properly making, and then Nintendo loves it when you don't make this distinction. They have built a lot of websites. They've spent a lot of time trying to make sure that people feel this way. Emulators themselves are not illegal. I don't mean to blow your mind.
you don't say.
It is one of those things
Go
where it's like
on.
what you do with them may be illegal, but
Right.
they themselves. It's why when that whole Giga Leak thing happened, all that Nintendo stuff got dumped, and there was a bunch of like Wii and different tool sets and stuff. Like the authors of the Dolphin emulator were like, we don't want anything to do with any of that shit because our shit is
Yep.
clean. If we start pulling Nintendo's own stuff into our code base, we will get sued to death. They're hobbyists. They want to be able to just make this stuff on their own, generally speaking. The Switch stuff is a different case because they both are running Patreons, and we could get into the morality of charging for
yeah.
open source software and all that sort of stuff, and how weird that gets. But like, again, I don't want to spend 3 hours on that sort of stuff. It's a sticky issue for a handful of different reasons. But I feel like, this is all lined up with this pent up desire on the part of some segment of the Switch Switch owners, or some segment of potential Switch owners, for the idea of a Switch that can play things at 4K and maybe at a faster frame rate and all this sort of stuff.
Yep.
And so now you can go to YouTube and you can find a bunch of videos of Metroid Dread running at very smooth frame rates at 4K or higher all this sort of stuff. The same way that you saw Breath of the Wild, like, you know, when the Switch was coming out, Wii U emulation had progressed to a point where you could take that Wii U version of Breath of the Wild, put it onto your PC, and get it looking better than the Switch version. And, you know, there's mod communities out there doing texture replacements and all kinds of crazy stuff around the edges of that, just as they've been doing for old games for years, you know, whether it's brand new localizations. There was another story going around that, like, Breath of the Wild, like, it's playable in Arabic because of a fan translation. Of course, the hoops you have to jump through to make that happen, especially if you want to make that happen legally, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The steps of going through all that stuff is, you know, because then you're like, okay, well, now I need a Switch that is old enough to be hackable. I need to be able to rip the keys out, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's like zillion steps in this process that if you don't want to go, you know, if you're like, hey, I don't want to be a pirate. I don't want to go just download this stuff. I want to do it the right way. Whatever that means to you, you know, like that's an ordeal of sorts from what I've been reading. And so it's an interesting time for Nintendo, right? Because we've got all these new stories, like Bloomberg is at it again saying, hey, 11 studios that we could confirm have dev hardware for an upgraded Switch. I don't think you get to a number like 11 making it up or being lied to unless Nintendo is running some big info scam, like try to root out leakers by generating fake leaks. You know, like it's, you know, there would have to be a big, long, messed up thing happening for that to not be true in some sense. Also, of course, Nintendo is going to always be working on new hardware. They're always going to be in R&D on something. They're always going to be thinking about what's next. You have to be always thinking about what's next.
Virtual Boy 2.
Yeah, exactly. This is where we're going. It just lines up. You know, the Switch is already portable. The Virtual Boy ran on batteries. You know, it's just like VR is never been hotter. Strap it to your goddamn face.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. So it's just been fascinating to see that stuff happen and have a new group of people realize that this has been happening for a long time, whether it's, you know, and Nintendo has been all over the place with system security for a while now. Like the 3DS got busted open in really crazy ways. The DS did as well. And the Switch was kind of no exception. It seems like the more modern, like once they realized, hey, there's a hardware flaw in here that we're never going to be able to fix on these particular Switches, they revised it. You know, they're like, well, make a new one. And so there was upgraded, or not upgraded, but altered Switch hardware that no longer, that flaw had been mitigated to a point where you could no longer use it to hack the system and pirate games and do all that sort of stuff. And now the OLED Switch is out, and still the Switch Lite is out. They have proceeded along that path. That said, there was some video out of China of someone claiming that they had hacked an OLED Switch. So who knows? Mod chips are always going to be a thing, all that other stuff. And where there's a will, there's a way, I guess. So it's just interesting to see like people going through this whole thing again, because none of this is new either. There was a point at which MAME could run Neo Geo games perfectly, and there were still Neo Geo games coming out. So SNK versus Capcom and stuff like that. That it got to a point where that was just like, yo, this is just piracy. Like that game just came out and is like $400, or you can click this link and get it. But the MAME team, their approach was to, hey, we're not going to include support for those games in our official builds for a year. So they waited a full year before they enabled it, which in the case of the Neo Geo was long enough for all those copies sold. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't as big of a problem as it could have been. You know, the PSP, obviously, everyone points to the PSP as a thing that got its, and the Dreamcast as things that got their legs cut out from under them by piracy and how easy it had gotten. I don't think the Switch process is as simple as even the PSP was. It seems like a bit of an ordeal to get all that stuff together. But I don't know. What do you guys think any of this is going to hit Nintendo's bottom line in a way that they're even going to notice or care about?
No, because wasn't there a story about Metroid Dread selling like the highest numbers sold in Europe?
In UK, it's the highest selling Metroid game. Yeah.
And also,
it's
tangentially looking at the process to do this, it's not the hardest thing, but also it's a lot more hoops than your regular person would be willing to go through.
You can't just go to like a mall kiosk and buy like a flash cart or something like that for the Switch. Just yet. But
so there is, it's not like the Dreamcast where it was just like, if you burn the discs the right way, they just run. You're like, oh,
Right.
well, you guys are fucked then. God, was it that easy? Yes.
Yeah.
It was pretty. Didn't it depend on the version you had?
So the last run of Dreamcast didn't have support for that CD format. I think what they were doing is they were exploiting something about karaoke
format or something.
Yeah, like karaoke disc
It was like
formatting.
a bootloader. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
And eventually they just integrated the bootloader into the games themselves. So they just would self boot. It was crazy. And so you just look at that combined with the headwinds they were already facing in the market. Like, it ain't good for them. PSP, custom firmware stuff got very easy to do. They made it harder over time, but it happened fast and all that sort of stuff. But then on the emulation side of it, you go back to like, well, N64 games. Like people were emulating N64 games at the time of release. Like the GBA had emulators out for it, I think before the console even shipped, because people knew what ARM processor was in it, and they were like, "Oh, we're guessing, and we'll have to make some changes to make it better once the GBA is out." But like they were kind of getting there with that sort of stuff. And hey, the GBA did pretty well.
Yeah, I think I've always been skeptical of if you get into the weeds on some of those like narratives of like, because it's a sort of a causality thing, right? Where like you look at the consoles that failed and then you remember like the PSP did have a lot of piracy on it, but also like PSP. I was working in retail when the PSP was out. Nobody bought games for that thing. Even people who owned them had like a very small amount of games because they were expensive and they weren't that big, and they were usually sort of hackneyed versions of the console, and you probably already owned the console, so they didn't spend a lot of money on those games. The Amiga is always cited as like, that was a computer that you could copy the games using the computer. It was built into the machine. But the reason Commodore died was because of loads of other financial stuff and bad investments, and this changed to 3D and all these other things. But that's the sort of like tale that's told. And the Dreamcast is similar. Like Dreamcast failed for lots of reasons. So I do feel like, I don't know where that narrative comes from. I guess it's helpful to hardware manufacturers, perhaps, but I think it also comes from gaming communities. We think that's what happened, but I don't think there's ever been a clear-cut example of that really being the case. It's always been niche, right?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
And that's my Commodore 64. I went and installed a weird board in my disk drive that would let you slow down the speed of the disks spinning, because that would get around a lot of the copy protection and let you copy discs.
That's funny.
And then I never did anything with it because like I only had like one friend who had a Commodore 64 and I would just lend him the discs in the first place. Right. Or you weren't dealing with originals in the first place because you were just getting pirated discs out of the gate instead of going out and buying them. Like it was a whole thing.
And I think people like in my town, at least back in whatever, 1992, like one of the things, the reasons people bought Commodores was because there was this abundance of software going around, and we still bought games, at Christmas and birthdays and special times like that. It wasn't like we weren't buying the games, and the machine was expensive. So, in many ways, like I wonder how many people bought a PSP because they had a friend who was able to, do such. I guess the later versions, it was harder to do that.
I don't know.
But
that happened like amongst my high school friend group with DSs. Because when DSs were like, when we were on the transition process to the 3DS, like flash cards were so readily available to everyone. Oh yeah, and that process was
R4
much
thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That process was so much easier than it was. For a bunch of high schoolers to just hackney together, right? You just go to a site, buy this, and then someone has like a USB full of games and stuff. That was like so easy for people to spread around in high school.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like one step more complicated than putting Doom on somebody's TI-84.
Yeah, that's what you're competing with. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's been interesting to see all this come up again because it comes up all the time, or not all the time, but this has happened multiple times over the years when it comes to emulation, and the reaction is typically the same in terms of you get like just an element of like, I don't know, like maybe pearl clutching is not the word, but like, you know, like people really freaking out about it and like, this is going to be the death of this console. You know, look, at some point, I'm sure Nintendo is aware of, I mean, obviously they revised the hardware to try to close that problem of hacking the hardware. But like, it ain't like the Switch ain't selling. It's not like, you know,
Right.
and like you said, Danny, I think there are a lot of other factors in the Dreamcast situation and the PSP situation. Like that stuff certainly didn't help, but those were also very extreme cases compared to most other consoles. So, yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating. And then you go look at those videos of here's this game running at 4K and all this other stuff. And obviously like the assets were not made to be viewed at that resolution, but there's a part of you that goes like, yeah, no, give me a powered up Switch. Like this OLED Switch is nice, but it's still a damn Switch.
Yeah.
You know? Like the OLED screen does wonders for it, but it's still a damn Switch. You're still going to put it on a TV and go, ooh,
Never.
Yeah,
I will never dock my Switch.
Yeah, I haven't done it in years. So that's
all
running on the
Switch
Evan.
does.
Is it?
I'm just a big
Yeah,
docking
it's really-
fan.
it's-
What do I, you know?
It's really nice to be on the podcast for once with somebody who understands that it's a handheld controller.
I've never. The only time I dock it is to capture it for work.
I feel like and so I have not played. I've played Metroid on a TV very little, because of the OLED Switch. I think specifically, and I wonder how much of like it got me thinking. How do you think Nintendo views the Switch? I would love to see the statistics around how many people are docking a Switch and how many people are never dockers and all that sort of stuff, because I feel like the existence of a new model that makes the screen bigger and better but does very little else. I mean, you know, people are tearing apart the dock and finding like, hey, the SoC in there is capable of 4K. And they added a firmware feature in there that does update the firmware on the dock. So is there a potential? Are they future-proofing the dock for a new Switch somewhere down the line or something fucking insane like that? Maybe, but the Switch OLED feels like some kind of like slight nudge from Nintendo to say like, yo, this is a handheld.
I'm waiting for
Especially with how it looks. Yeah, especially with how it looks when you do dock it. Some of those games look pretty bad. Some look fine. It's not every game.
They look fine. They look fine.
Yeah, I think
some,
most games are.
Especially like a really
okay
good
looking.
OLED TV. Like they look fine.
Yeah,
I just think you scale that up to 4K on a TV, you really start.
It's
to
not.
notice
It's. I don't think it's doing it a huge disservice by any means, but yeah, you can tell that it's not 4K assets for sure. But
yeah,
you need to go in with that in mind.
I feel like I've heard it the most about Metroid, and ironically, Zelda. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
Got a poll. You want the answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, John, you go
hot
for
poll,
it.
hot poll.
I ran a poll.
Hot poll,
Do
hot
you
poll.
dock? 72 people said yes.
Yes.
28 people said nah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
should've
it's
specified you were
different
talking about the
than
Switch.
do you dock? Because I've docked when I want to show somebody else, like when I'm playing Animal
Do you
Crossing
know what the
or-
question meant, Ben?
No!
Yeah,
don't.
this wasn't
I
like
can't
casual
read.
docking. It wasn't casual docking. It was
Whoa.
like
Are we?
Are you a
full-grown
docker or not?
ass
Yes.
docker,
Space dock?
yeah.
I used to have those pants a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Inconclusive.
Docking, daggering,
I
all of
mean,
it. Just bring it on.
I was only a half docker when I was commuting, and now I'm a full-time dock guy.
You would dock on the bus.
Containerizing left and right.
Talk fiend.
No, you can't dock on the bus. I mean, you should
Dock
ask permission, but you can't dock on the go. That's not the point. Am I right? Like
I've seen people bring towers to a Starbucks. So
Mhm.
That's a crime. That's a crime. It's not a LAN party.
some people
can
dock
bring a-
it.
you
Whenever,
can bring
wherever.
a-
Some people are just
Mm.
like whatever. They're voyeurs. You know, they're just like they want to put on a show. They want to watch like all that stuff. If you want to dock,
Yeah.
Check out my RGB
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
space. Yeah.
Really great butt.
So is that it?
Get that.
Is that
fondue.
it? Is that all? Is that all the news?
That's all. I mean, there's some other stories here. I don't know. Who put
Well,
them
we don't
there,
need to
but-
touch on the last two I added there. I mean, Jeff, if you feel compelled to talk about this one I've highlighted here, Jeff Gersman.
The very idea. Jeff Bakalar, did you spend a lot of time with the Magic Leap?
Negative.
Shit.
I think I saw it like in the flesh once. Like I actually saw it as a product.
Yeah.
That was like, I want to say around the waist of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was the thing with the frog. What the hell? What is this?
This is the thing. This is the AR goggles that Weta made a couple of game for, and they sold in AT&T stores for a brief period of time. The head of the company was out there saying like, no one's gonna have a monitor on their desk in 5 years because this thing's so good, and then they just kind of blew up and laid a bunch of people off, and it seemed like it was done. That it seemed like Magic Leap was done, and now they have gone and done a new round of funding and unveiled a Magic Leap 2. Because the idea is still strong. It's still like AR. So two things: one, the idea is still strong. AR is eventually going to be the future. B, this is totally aimed at enterprise, where that stuff, like HoloLens has like real. Like I think HoloLens, they just had some military contract or something, but that type of AR stuff is going to matter for like, hey, I'm fixing an airplane. How the fuck do I fix an airplane? Oh, off to the side in my periphery is how I fix an airplane. I'm fixing this airplane.
Like not even that.
Type of
like
enterprise
straight up in your vision cone, like highlighting the wire to cut, like in your cone of vision, right? Like sure.
It's just
like it makes a lot of sense.
They raised 500 million.
People, there is
following
a
the round
that,
of
like,
investing. Magic Leap has been valued at approximately $2 billion.
What
Thank
round
you,
is
Alibaba.
it? What series is this? Is this like Series R already? Like I don't like but there are a lot of people who think and are betting big on like this being the only way to move industry at scale forward. In a way
the
for like
Ford people gave you a
described.
trunk you could put wings in.
At least it had a drainage.
But think about it. Don't think about this as like you're going to buy this and then use it at your desk or play games on it. Think about it as like you are building that Ford with the frunk, and you need to put that thing on so you
Visualize how many wings.
Yeah, where is this frunk deep enough for the wings, or did I build it wrong? Where's the bathroom? The bathroom over here. I'm gonna follow this line over here. Yeah, it's strictly. Maybe eventually this ends up getting into some kind of consumer realm eventually, right? Because I think that tech gets better and smaller and makes a lot of sense someday. But right now, like HoloLens, same deal. Like Microsoft still has HoloLens stuff. Like they made another one. They are still out there doing the same type of enterprise stuff, and this just seems like, hey, they're here to compete with the HoloLens for whatever those contracts are. And
I was as crazy as all this is, I was over the weekend talking to somebody who either works for or works for a supplier for that crowd who are doing the AR contact lens, and he was telling me about the tech behind that and like them trying to get a battery on a contact lens. It's just like insane. The amount of money and research just getting pumped into this stuff is just bananas.
Now imagine that Steam disassembly thing where they're like, hey, by the way, a damaged battery can catch on fire. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now 0-day malware that gets installed on your eyes that causes your eyes to overheat and the battery to explode in your eyes.
Oh, I think I did that in Cyberpunk, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly. You're just, this is my new Deus Ex design doc. Just
don't invest in Leapfrog, invest in those Ripper docs.
Yeah.
Leapfrog.
Yeah.
I never thought we would. I mean, I guess like it makes sense, but
That's
I just never
stuff.
thought we would see the Magic Leap name again.
There you go. Never say never. Never say never.
And that's the news.
All right, that's going to do it. That's the news. That's all the news there is that is fit to print. We will be back with all kinds of letters in front of the email. See ya.
Hey, you selling stuff on the internet? Who isn't? Am I right? Right? Well, look, how do you sell it? If you're looking to get into the selling stuff online business, what do you do? You got your funny t-shirt idea and you're like, oh, I want to sell it myself, but how do I do? Hey, stop thinking, start doing. with Shopify. Shopify gives you all the resources you need. These are resources that were once reserved for big business. So you little upstart, you start up, whatever, your established business, all these people, you can sell everywhere. You can synchronize your online and your in-person sales and effortlessly stay informed. So, let's say you're selling these t-shirts out of the trunk of your car and online. You're going out to the pier. You're like, hey, you want to buy a shirt? You don't want to sell too many to sell online. All this stuff comes together with Shopify. So scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. Shopify powers over 1.7 million businesses. From first sale to full scale, everybody. You can reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps. That includes Facebook, if Facebook is up by the time you hear this, I don't know. Instagram, same deal. TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Synchronize your online and in-person sales. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is possibility, powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/bomb, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/bomb right now. That's shopify.com/bomb.
Emails and voicemails and B-mails, I love them. Can't get enough of them myself.
That's a lot of
Beep
cues to
mails.
hit.
Ben Pack, take us on this freaky deaky adventure.
All right. Jan Ochoa, take it away.
Voicemail dunk trick.
Oh, I'm not done hitting all the buttons yet.
Voicemail dunk trick.
Yeah,
There's that one.
Voicemail dunk trick.
Maybe you can make a mix that overlays all the songs.
Yeah, a sing-along version where it's
Voicemail
like
dunk trick.
a bouncing
Little
ball.
bouncy.
Yeah.
Okay, done. I know what I'm working on.
All right. I'm glad we're starting with
We got a
voicemails.
lot of
I
really
have to
good
leave a little early,
voicemails.
so
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you everyone who called in. 707 exit flu. We got a shit ton of voicemails. This is
Nice.
just a
That's why you need a dump truck.
For
exactly.
episode
shit.
707.
mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo,
All right.
Bay Area, North Bay.
Area.
Backwards.
You guys okay? Or is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? It's just an area code, you
I'm gonna
silly
go
little
turn
idiots.
tight ones.
Oh, I ain't got dreads, but I'm thinking about growing some.
Nice.
But Jeff, before you got to leave, we have to play these as the mini taco aficionado. Oh, that's good. I like.
Well,
How
Okay.
tiny are we talking?
All right.
Teeny.
I went to Jack in the Box and I got these. So they have I love a good two taco from Jack in the Box.
Yep.
So they have the mini tacos and they came in a
Two-pack, yep.
spicy version. So I got the
Yep.
spicy mini tacos.
Yep.
And it comes in
Really?
this big old like Chinese food rice box.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
there's 15 of them in there, and they're this really gross red color. Let's see how they taste.
Good crunch.
These are bad.
What?
They're
Oh,
not good.
Fuck this guy.
Your
Damn it.
Jack in the Box Mexican food is bad?
no,
No, it's not.
Hold
He's
on.
I don't
wrong.
believe it.
Leave that condescension at the door because I am on record as saying the Jack in the Box 2-for-1 taco side is the single greatest fast food offering in existence.
They don't offer it
Which I
anymore.
will
The
stand
2 for
by.
$1 thing, they're
Alright,
more expensive than that
alright.
now. They haven't
Yeah,
done
they
2
are,
for $1 in
but-
kind of a while. But
No,
wanna die on
I
that
mean,
hill,
they did it as
Ben?
recently as like I get them all the time.
okay, maybe it's just a big city thing, and they know in the suburbs they can fuck people over. But yeah, okay.
I believe we have a follow up, Jan.
Yes, we do.
No, I don't want to do
8
anymore
minutes.
after that.
8 minutes
Is
later,
this him
he
in the
called
hospital?
8 minutes later, okay.
I know I called and said those Jack in the Box spicy miniature tacos were not very good.
Miniature.
They weren't, but they were sitting there, and I ate 12 out of the 15. I don't feel good.
Yeah,
Aw.
obviously, dude.
Fucking coward. Your stomach's a coward.
3 short. 3 short.
I think I'm not gonna feel good anymore after eating hot
So they
garbage.
sell
Well,
these. They sell these 2 ways. You can get them. Well, okay, 4 ways technically, because they do regular, they do spicy. The spicy ones, the shells are red. which is very
Okay.
fancy. But
Like
you
a
can also
shitty
get
red
them
natural
loaded.
color.
And when you get them
Fancy.
loaded, they just dump taco sauce and nacho cheese over the top of them in this like
Really?
Chinese food style container. And so
Awesome.
you really got to eat them with a fork.
Wet.
Nah,
And,
hands in,
Yeah,
baby.
see, I don't want that. I want to be able to eat my taco with my hands.
I want that.
I can't
I need
do
that.
messy food. I don't like messy food. I don't getting
I'm
it.
at a computer too
I
often
don't like getting it in my hands.
to eat messy food.
Use the
you know.
fork. That's what it's about. Just dive
Exactly.
on in.
Yeah.
Don't want to
How do you fucking spear a mini taco though? Like if
They
it's
get
crunchy
soggy
like that?
fast. They get
Do they
soggy
get
fast,
soggy?
especially when they're
Okay,
covered
yeah.
in nacho cheese. Like you've
Yeah.
believe me,
So
there's
they're-
plenty of
They're
stabbable.
deep fried, and so they just get oily and a little
Yeah.
mushy.
They're a disaster, and they're delicious. These came out alongside the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. We tried these, I believe, when we were still doing the after show is when these first came out. But since then, they did add the like, yo, what if we buried him in nacho cheese? And I got to say,
Listen up,
this guy's
fucker,
wrong.
We know why you're here.
Yeah, his stomach is bullshit, and I think that he should be ashamed of himself. And now that we've brought these up and talked about them, I might have to order them tonight. It's been a while since I've had any.
Wow.
That sounds
I'm
good.
like
Yeah.
2 blocks away from a Jack in the Box right now.
I get them without the lettuce because that's me. But
Yeah.
I normally do.
not
Like when
pretending.
I go to Taco Bell, I get it without the lettuce because it's just a weird consistency thing. But I like it on the Jack in the Box ones.
okay,
It's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird.
what if you just had a little box of Jack in the Box tacos that were also then
Right, in
smeared
a little
with more
Chinese
gunk?
food box.
Yeah,
Oh, this sounds great.
it's a
Here's
good
a pro
time.
tip. Here's a pro tip. You go to a nice salad place. Instead of getting like whatever chicken and croutons and tortilla chips to pay extra, just get the greens, right? And then bring your mini tacos, throw them
Yep.
on. Balanced meal.
Boom.
Balanced
You
meal.
could probably do that.
Fuck
at
this! I
least.
gotta go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I gotta this mini taco thing.
go.
I'm on a quest now. I gotta go
Should-
make this happen for myself.
You should.
So
your
you
baby
guys
on
have a
solids
good
yet?
rest of your show.
Manifest, baby.
Sure.
Manifest.
That's right. And if you don't hear from me, like it's not because my stomach couldn't handle the tacos. It's because I went back and got more, and I've just been busy.
I don't have a Jack in the Box
Okay.
around here
You have a
anymore.
lot of work ahead of you.
Yeah. All right, I'll get to work then.
Godspeed.
Have a good rest of your show.
Peace out.
See you soon.
Bye, Jeff.
Later.
Motherfuckers,
Oh, boy.
I gave up Jack in the Box. I don't have it out
you don't
here.
have one.
I don't have
I
it.
think
I got Zaxby's, but I ain't got no fucking Jack in the Box.
What's Zaxby's? What do they got?
Yeah, what's
Everything?
that?
Actually, it's
Got a
good
sauce.
chicken shit. Real good chicken shit with a fucking amazing sauce. We're
Some of
having
the
it
best
tonight,
sauce in
by the way.
game.
Chicken.
Oh.
I come over.
Good chicken shit.
I remember when I was working there, somebody sent us like boxes of the Zaxby sauce.
Yes.
And
yeah,
Jason
Marino.
took them all.
Fucking A, I did. I gave some to Dan Hour because he would, you know, he likes some too.
Down the way.
Right. Exactly. I had to, look out for my dude.
Okay. Any
Sorry.
of these are other standouts, Ben?
Oh, they're all good. Why don't you play the first Crush? I'm
Oh,
excited for other people's answers on this one.
oh no. I think okay.
It's also
No
a
more
fun
Jack in the
whisper.
Box.
The game over screen for Banjo-Kazooie, and Gruntilda, the ugly witch, swapped like her looks with Banjo's sister Tootie, and she came out of that like smoky machine, and she was super fucking hot.
She was
That was
smoking.
definitely my first crush. Who is your first crush? Like, not in the real world, but like, you know, video games, movies, whatever.
Thanks
Bye.
for specifying.
Yo, easy
God,
for
I don't
me.
know.
A Goofy movie, Roxanne. I
Yeah.
wanted to be Max Goof so hard with that Tevin Campbell song, Eye to Eye,
baby.
Stand Out. I wanted to grab my two friends that kind of match the two friends in a Goofy movie, have them strap a hook to me. Let's do Powerline, baby. Roxanne. Right?
What? This
There we
sounds
go.
oddly
She with it.
That's it.
specific and sexual.
That was a beautiful moment right there, Jan.
Yeah.
I feel like most people my
Damn.
age will instantly just say Jessica Rabbit
Mm.
right away.
I can't deny that.
I mean, that I don't know what that movie was rated, but that
Like
did,
G
yeah,
or
that-
some shit. Jesus Christ.
It couldn't have been G. It couldn't have been G, dude.
Roger Rabbit rating.
It had to be PG or maybe PG-13.
Yeah,
That
But-
got really dark.
The melting at the end, it's like a pretty.
Yeah, like the whole Judge Doom
Eyeballs.
shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's PG. It's PG.
You know, like even it. Yeah, in 2021, that's a PG-13 movie probably.
Right.
But yeah, holy shit, Jessica Rabbit, woof, really did a number on me as a
Ooga.
youth.
Ooga.
Yeah,
Ben?
for
Me,
sure.
it's got to be Allison Finelli from Pete and Pete.
Oh,
Pete's,
nice.
like best friend Ellen. She just had that like kind of aura. I found captivating as a youth. Like somebody, it was that like crush where you're like, I want to like hang out with them, and if it gets romantic, that's cool too. But like they just seem cool, you know, that vibe. And then in terms of video games, nothing particularly stood out to me until I started thinking about. I would go. My mom, you know, when you go shopping, it'd be common to like go to the magazine zone and just like read whatever Nintendo Power, whatever magazines they had there, Mad Magazine, stuff like that. And there was a cover magazine from Play Magazine, I want to say, that had Blood Rain as like
Oh, damn. Oh, no.
and I remember doing the
Okay.
thing that you would do in like cartoons.
You made out
where
with
you
it.
You put
Okay.
the
Yeah,
right there in
magazine
the story.
behind another magazine, so it looks like you're
Oh.
reading whatever, but then you have the other things. I didn't want my mom to see me looking at the like pin-up thing.
Okay.
Blood
Other
Rain.
than Roxanne, I don't know what it says about me that both of my cartoon crushes are both animals. Gadget.
I know what it says about you, Jan.
Don't say it out loud then.
It's very
Oh.
obvious.
Gadget from Rescue Rangers.
Oh
my goodness.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
I could get down with some Gadget. Sure.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not
Um,
coughing up to anything.
Oh,
It'll
also,
out
I
me.
was
Dr. M to
For-
the J in chat says Topanga. Topanga.
yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was just about to say
Topanga.
Topanga and Alex Mack.
Yeah.
I was like all about Alex Mack.
Mm,
Yeah, Topanga.
all right.
That's Topanga.
You yelled at me, but I'm Topanga. Ben, any
Dealer's
other
choice, Jan. Dealer's choice.
dealer's
They're
choice?
all
right.
They're all winners.
Well, we talked about crushes. Let's talk about the worst advice, huh? And pop.
Hi, this is Nathan from Tumwater, Washington. What's the worst
What?
advice you've ever received?
Oh. Huh.
Is that
I got-
Nathan? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard his
Nathan's
voice
back.
before.
What's that? What is that? What does that
Nathan
mean?
from Tumwater, Washington.
Water, Washington. Number one Giant Bomb question asker.
Holy shit.
Oh, cool.
He's
All right.
part of the crew. I think he's on payroll. You should look into that.
Yeah.
Long before me.
Worst
right.
advice. Worst advice.
The worst advice I ever got was someone when I first got the CNET said to me, the best thing you can do here is keep your head down. Don't and just do your job.
Oh, come on.
And don't
Try not to be a
don't speak
person.
at. Yeah, it was basically like strip away all your humanity and maybe you'll have a job in 5 years. This person, who will obviously go nameless, real bad person. But yeah, I even at the tender age of whatever the fuck I was when I started there, I was like, that seems like the worst possible thing you could tell another person.
Yeah.
That was the worst advice I ever got.
Also work related, when I got my job offer for Giant Bomb, they tried to talk me out of leaving at Game Informer. And I remember this person, and I won't name a name, but he was just like, you're going to fucking hate it out on the West Coast. It's the worst possible place that you could possibly live. And he's not completely wrong by any means.
I was gonna say, like,
but
that might-
at the time, like career wise, like it was such a good move. But it's funny to know that now this man lives on the West Coast as well.
I wonder who it is. I wonder. I
I won't name any names.
was
but
waiting for the punchline. That's good.
No.
Man. Worst advice? I don't know.
His name is Dan
Uh,
Reichert.
I don't know. That rat tail looked
anything
good.
from. Oh, jeez.
What's that, Jen?
That rat tail looks good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, this was several years. I think. Oh God. At least 2. Like it got real long. We don't need to talk about it anymore. My hair has been through some weird choices.
Well,
Did
look.
you keep it? Is it in a little shoebox somewhere?
I
I'm gonna
buried
do a
it.
rat tail with my beard.
Buried it. Wow.
No, please no.
All right, let's move on to what is this? Mouth recesses? What?
What the fuck?
What?
That's not
You
Nathan
don't
from
have
Tumwater,
to-
Washington.
Jan, don't try and make sense of them before you play them. It's not going to work.
Jesus Christ!
Hey guys, this is Cincinnati Eric. I didn't go to confession this week, so here we go. I just got home from work and I had a couple spoonfuls of peanut butter. And while the peanut butter was in my mouth, I squeezed Hershey syrup in my mouth. I called them mouth Reese's. I invented those.
It's not mouth recesses, it's mouth Reese's. Okay.
Yeah, that's really funny, actually.
All right.
Okay.
Also, the fucking chocolate syrup that comes out of that receptacle is not the chocolate that I want. Like,
it's too dark.
It's a very specific.
It's just
I only want it on ice
not
cream.
good enough. Yeah, it's just not good enough. Like the Reese's chocolate is so damn good that surrounds that fake ass peanut butter, which is also so good. But like, don't squirt that in your mouth. Just don't. There's something so wrong about that black liquid. Like,
I think
it's
that's
just
the
gross.
worst advice I've ever gotten. Don't squirt that in your mouth.
There you
All
go.
right. Playing this next one.
I do want to shout out a very popular drink at a lot of parties I used to go to when I was doing the cosplay circuit. Was called a Dirty Thin Mint or a Dirty Girl Scout, and you would
I
line
hate
your
this
mouth
one.
with chocolate sauce and then take a shot of like peppermint liqueur, and then whisk it around in your mouth.
Dude, I mean, that's,
Dirty
it's
girls.
that's funny. I like that for the entertainment factor.
All right.
I love that it was just circled around the cosplay circle as well.
Yeah, because those people were freaks.
Yeah.
They're just masquerading.
They
there.
are.
Yeah,
They
I would
are.
do that with.
I love them. Some of my best friends. Absolutely.
I would do that with
Yeah.
my theater people. So tangentially,
Yeah,
they're almost
yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
All right, playing this next one.
Hey, Bombardiers. I got a movie pitch for you. Okay, so Ice Cube and Ice-T are a couple trying to adopt a kid. But the agency wants them to go through a trial period taking care of a, what they call a baby impersonator, played by Vanilla Ice.
Okay.
And I wanted to be called Ice Ice Baby.
Yep.
Now, I'm not sure if Vanilla Ice should be playing himself or just a baby,
Yes.
but I'm wondering what your guys' thoughts are and whether you want to invest.
No, it's a baby with the CG like Vanilla Ice head.
Yeah.
So the head is like the size of the baby's body, with catchphrases, from Vanilla Ice. I can't
We
think
need
of
to cut
anything
this
now.
email out of the or voicemail out of the show because we need to take this to Hollywood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
was
just
just gonna
want to
say, like,
invest. To answer your
the
question,
right-
yes, I do want to invest.
I'm almost positive that if the right powerful people had this in their hands, like this could easily be a thing. Like, it is so not even a fucking stretch. It's just like this would be greenlit and done in 6 months. I feel
Yeah.
like everyone on board, like that would be it. It'd be an opening.
I'm
shut
releasing on
case.
Paramount Plus within the week.
That's it. It would be so easy to get this done. I feel like with the right
It's
people.
watertight.
You know,
It's watertight.
you
yeah.
know,
It's
like it just seems so perfect. You're asking the right questions, friend, about how exactly are we going to portray Vanilla Ice in this. I
Is he
like
playing
that.
himself or a baby?
Yeah. And I like that like you had buy-in in the most absurd pitch that led the first like 75% of that voicemail. I was like, yep, I'm on board. Yes, now we've already arrived at a crucial talking discussion point about how Vanilla Ice is going to come out in this picture. I love it.
All right. Go ahead, Ben.
No, I just love voicemails, man. Seriously,
great.
this is the kind of stuff you can voicemail us about anything, really. I listen to all of them.
And Ben, what's that number again for the folks at home?
707 exit flu. And if you're lucky enough, this happened to some random caller. If you're lucky enough to call in while I'm downloading voicemails, you just get through to me, and it just picks up for me, and I start talking to you. I guess that happened, which was very surprising for both of us.
That's a nice little jackpot bonus right there, right? When the timing's just right.
I was like, what is
That's
this sound my computer is making? It was another tab. It was the Google Voice thing being like, you have an incoming caller, and it just popped me into the call with them.
That's amazing.
All right.
Well, now they know.
We got time for a couple more. Maybe we just do all voicemails, huh? Yeah. All right.
Sure.
Yo, it's 11:21 p.m. I'm on the 4th floor of a parking lot in Kansas City, and I've moved around about 30 feet in 25 minutes. And I was wondering, what do you think is the best vessel to pee in, a Red Bull can or an empty Big Mac container? Thanks.
I mean,
Dan, I labeled this one NSFW, meaning to give that a little bit of heads up. I guess it's a retroactive.
Yeah, that's fine. You get it on the flip side there.
If you're listening to this on speakers at your place of work, what are you doing?
Yeah. You done fucked up. Yeah. I feel like
which would you rather pee in, a Big Mac container or a Red Bull can?
a Big Mac container is not even a receptacle for liquid at all.
Right,
So
there's
like,
holes down at the bottom. Like, oh, jeez.
All right. It's also paper, which is a horrific receptacle. Like, what are you doing?
There's not enough. No,
Look,
there's not enough area to.
It ain't a Pringles can. A Pringles can, I'll pee in. A Pringles can, give me a Pringles can, I'll piss in it. Right?
Humor me here.
Right.
In a Big Mac box, you get two different little buckets. So
what?
Yeah, because you open it up, right? It's two different spots.
So what? What do you? What's the point?
More? That's more area.
What are you doing? Like an open face piss? Like what is
What if
that?
what if you have to pee more than 8 ounces, Jeff?
What, how much is a Red Bull can? Only 8 ounces?
8 ounces. And that's like
also, if you're peeing,
you could get bigger Red Bull cans.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're pissing into a Red Bull can, my gosh, be careful. Like because
you got to line it up.
The hole is tiny.
The hole,
you got to line it up just right.
It's like shooting it into a clown's mouth to win a stuffed animal.
It's like pissing through a straw. Like, good luck. What are you doing?
All right.
You're fucked right there.
Of
is
Big
what you
Mac
are.
Box. Let's see.
I mean, it's just not gonna hold piss. It's not gonna do it. So don't do it. Like piss into your glove box at that point.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, or piss out the window. Shit.
Hey,
No,
Danny,
just
would you
piss,
rather
not
piss
shit.
in a Big Mac box or a Red Bull can?
Oh my god, am I holding the box? Yeah, the can. Jesus.
Am I holding the box? Dude, that's the least.
Is it a
of your
moving
fucking
car
problems
though?
of that.
Like,
Oh, in the
I'd
car,
be
you
worried
drive
about
in the car.
the Red Bull can. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to hurt me. It's gonna be
It's
hard
sharp.
to aim. Yeah,
the Red Bull can.
and I'm not
is such a good
circumcised, so
idea.
sometimes it gets a little bit messy.
Wide open.
Wow,
Right.
Danny, I didn't know we were gonna find that out today, but
Yeah,
here we
It's a
are.
bad.
Now we know.
It's a bad. I mean, it's a real like. If those are the two options, then fucking, it's gonna be bad either way, I guess.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
maybe the
listen
Big
to
Mac.
this next voicemail.
Thanks for hitting that.
Yo,
eject
what up,
button,
Bomb
John.
Crew? This is Joe from Missouri. I'm on my break right now. Had a question / scenario for you. So, congrats. You guys got hired to consult for Turtle Rock Studios. Hooray. Anyway, day one, they come to you and they're like,
Back for
hey,
blood.
we need
Turtle
new
Rock.
zombie types.
Okay.
What's it look like? What's weird, funny noises does it make? What's it do?
Wow.
Have fun. Okay, thanks. Bye. So, what would you guys make as your fun, cool zombie for, I forget the game, Back for Blood? Okay, thanks. Bye.
How
You
about
said
the
bye twice. Yeah.
the insurrectionists? They're all just a bunch of
Ah.
right wing. You know, they've all got like loads of
Fun to shoot, let me tell you.
loads of camo shit on them, so they kind of look like they're, but ultimately they're fucking Egypts. So you can just pick them off really easy. But they're zombies. They're zombies. They're zombies.
Fast food mascots.
It's a way better answer. Strong
good.
answer.
Who would be the strongest fast food mascot zombie?
Ronald McDonald.
Gritty. Oh, just fast food?
Yeah.
It'd probably be
the
the king.
Fast food.
The
Grimace,
the Philly
man.
guy.
Grimace.
Who's the
Grimace would fuck people up just with his girth alone.
That's true.
Grimace.
Poor
There's only
Wendy.
like
the,
6.
The Big Mac container.
There's only like
Oh.
6.
There's
Right?
like 6 McDonald's ones, dude.
They don't count. You don't see those cats anymore, man.
Mac the Knife. Birdie,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like,
Mayor
like the
McCheese?
burger criminal one. Like, you, if you asked
Hamburglar,
1,000
don't
kids,
the burglar criminal one. You fucking refer to him as his God-given name, the
I
Hamburglar.
worked 40 years as a criminal stealing from Ronald McDonald's empire for you to call up this burger thief or whatever.
I'm just saying, like, there's no way anyone under 30 knows who any of those fools are. There's just no way. You ask 1,000 like 25-years-olds, they're like, "What in the
And
fuck?"
that's-
Why is that relevant?
That's what's wrong with culture.
It's not relevant, I guess, but like, I I guess you're not wrong. The hardest one to kill would be the Taco Bell Chihuahua, just from a
He's so
size
little.
perspective.
He's so
Is that a
little.
thing?
Yeah,
Small
yeah.
hitbox.
Who wants to kill him?
That hitbox is just 3 pixels. That's it.
Well, that brings me to my zombie idea, which is like a swarm of zombie birds that you gotta kind of like. No one of them
Swat
is going
away.
to do a lot of damage, but they're all like it's like a pack.
Oh,
of
so like a
whatever birds that they
Hitchcockian
shoot at. Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about something like slow moving, like cows, like zombie cows or something? It's just gonna like.
I mean, what's the
it's
difference
It
between a
Follows.
cow and a
Dumb.
zombie cow? Right?
You can tip
Well,
them
the zombie
both
cow
and it
wants
works
to
out.
eat you.
It's like a zombie snail. Like, all right, I got time.
Yeah, but like that. Think about how like annoying and pervasive that would be. Where like you kind of feel generally safe in a society where
Yeah.
there's lots of zombie cows, but like it's kind of like it follows. It's like if it's far away, if the cows are far away, fine. But if they're close, you go to sleep, you wake up as a fucking cow.
Probably
Cow right
a
in your
little
face.
closer. Yeah.
Shit.
Your nutsack. Yeah.
People would just be like, "This is a minor inconvenience."
Until he chews on your nutsack.
Well, let's
Yeah.
just say it'd be
I guess
worse
they
in
go
Ireland
after the
than it would
balls.
be
They do. Yeah.
in New Jersey. You know,
There's a lot of
Pretty
cows
bad
here.
Fucking problem. Yeah,
There's a lot of farms in Jersey. Yeah.
It's like there was a
Tons of
black
farms.
sheep. There was a like a Kiwi movie where it was all about sheep being zombies, and that's a problem
Oh,
if you
damn.
live in New Zealand. Yeah,
Yeah.
That sucks. Sucks.
it's a good movie.
All right. Maybe 2 more voicemails?
Bring it.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
I like the
They're
name of
awesome.
this one.
Oh, hey, I just wanted to know if you had to eat breakfast while you were taking a shower, what breakfast food would you choose? Thanks.
Well, that's a strange question.
It's like any fruit. Any fruit's fine, right?
Yeah, banana, apple.
Breakfast food.
Yeah, that's
Easy.
not a
I
real
suppose
breakfast
most of them are.
here.
Eggs would be
Talking
very
like-
difficult.
Breakfast burrito.
Truly.
Easy.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
answer too.
That-
But like,
that's the first one.
you're gonna have
but
wet hands, dude, and a wet tortilla is like a little gross.
That's why you just like palm it at the bottom, right? You put the burrito like there and just like push.
squeeze it up like a
Oh,
like
okay,
a
or
go-gurt.
a push pop. Yeah.
Oh,
Is this?
I'm doing the
is this
go-gurt
question-
motion.
Okay, is that what that is? Is
Yep.
this question like assuming that you're doing a good job to kind of avoid it getting wet, or is it assumed that your food is gonna get wet and you just have
Yeah.
to
You're
deal
just-
with it being wet?
You're running late.
How are you in the shower?
I mean, if I have like an area that can't get wet, I feel like I could avoid it getting wet. So if I just had like a stack of pancakes that I'm just sort of like,
No,
you know,
you're-
balancing.
you're embracing the chaos. This is a chaos situation that you have allowed yourself to be into. So you're fully engaged in.
Then,
you're
then
not
like a
trying to-
then like a smoothie. Like that's the most covered. I got it. It's in a cup with a straw with a lid. That's it.
That's too easy. Too easy.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Howard.
This caller didn't say if we were showering with water. If it's with milk, then just
problem solved.
Cereal.
Well, yeah.
Put it in the cereal.
I assumed we were talking about a milk shower.
Anything.
Oh,
this is
my
F1.
mistake. Sorry.
Yeah.
If it was butter,
Yeah.
toast. There's no. Have your butter shower. Classic butter shower.
Cholula. Cholula shower.
I could
What
eat
would be the
bacon
worst
wet. I'd eat bacon
shower?
wet. Sausage. That'd be okay.
Yeah, bacon. I could eat bacon. I don't care what bacon looks like. I'm fucking
Say what the
eating it.
worst food would be?
Yeah, or like the worst like liquid to be showered in. If you like,
oh, that's a whole nother
lava.
Whatever's
don't know
in
if we're-
Jan's Big Mac container.
All right. Let's maybe
Which side, the left or the right side? apparently?
This podcast has the energy of like the fucking teacher has left the room. Like the minute Gerstmann left, it's just
Totally.
descending.
He's gone. He's gone.
If he wasn't
the
here in the first place, it wouldn't have been like this. But because he was here and he's gone, it feels like there's like a
You got
vacuum
it.
of
A specter hanging over us.
I pulled
the
some
substitute-
really.
I was gonna say the substitute rolled in the fucking movie and it
Yeah.
just cut out 2 seconds in,
And fell
we're
asleep.
and that's it.
Yep, and fell
we're
asleep.
I don't know
think
about
they're
that.
gone.
Because some of the emails I pulled just have to do with flushing food down the toilet, whether
Yeah,
or
I got a
not.
lot of voicemails about that. Don't do it.
do it.
And
No,
then
don't do
someone
it.
talking whether or not they should break up with their partner because she doesn't know what Limp Bizkit is.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
it's
okay.
normal
Keeper,
stuff.
What are you doing? Yeah.
All right.
She needs to dump them.
If you're
Yeah,
doing
seriously.
one more,
Okay.
wait, we did that one. I don't even know what double check is. Do that one.
All right.
Oh
Let's
boy.
do it.
Oh boy.
Oh, wait, no.
Roll the
Do
dice.
foul pizza.
Oh, I was going to
want
do
everyone-
foul pizza.
I want everyone to hear this.
Oh.
Hey guys, so I'm sitting at lunch at work. Lunch has bought us personal pizzas. We have mozzarella cheese, black olives, lettuce,
What?
tomato, cheddar cheese on top of that,
What?
Ugh.
and then queso spread all around.
What?
Queso on
These
the
are the pizzas
pizza?
they want us.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest combination of toppings you've ever had on pizza? Alright, bye.
So just to run over that again, personal pizzas for everyone, mozzarella, olives, lettuce, tomato, cheddar
Lettuce,
cheese,
tomato.
and queso.
Yeah, it's like
Lettuce.
It's probably it's like a novelty pizza, right? It's like a Mexican like taco pizza, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to do. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
classic
Oh.
Mexican olives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, black olives. I feel like you can get away with that. Maybe. I don't know.
Totally.
I
Yeah.
feel like if you're getting pizza for everyone, you have to stick to cheese or pepperoni, right? Like
Of course. Or just
Can't have
plain.
olives.
That's it.
Olives are like
can't
you know,
have
that's
olives
the
and
Very
lettuce.
divisive. Yeah.
lettuce.
Lettuce is the
crazy.
weirdest
That's-
thing.
What's
That's why it made
that?
me think of like an unpacked burrito kind of situation.
I don't get the lettuce thing. I don't get
Never,
it.
Just loose
I've
on
never
top.
had it. Yeah.
Lettuce.
I mean,
Sprinkled a little bit.
in Connecticut, I think in New Haven, I think it is. They have all these like very specialty pies where people do not. They're very precious about the pizza up there, and there's a very famous clam pie up there, which
Yeah.
is like it's
Oh,
like a
yeah,
skinty-
delicious.
yeah, I'd fuck with that. I'd do that.
It's amazing.
I'm back
It's
on board.
amazing. Yeah,
I'd
it's
say
amazing.
fuck you to that.
No, I'm
We got
good.
that
Yeah,
here.
You'll get.
I mean,
you'll get
it's,
high.
it's very good. Yeah, it's very good.
I
Oh,
had
right,
this
that's the
pizza.
allergic. That's right.
I had this pizza here in SF. It's called the Brazilian pizza. I pulled up their menu. It's ranch sauce, mozzarella, ham, bacon, green olives, onions, tomatoes, oregano. All normal so far.
Yeah, I'm
boiled
fine
eggs.
with that.
Boiled
Huh.
eggs.
Oh, you
I
know,
would
the,
also eat
look,
that
like
without the olives.
The egg thing works. Yeah.
I feel like there's nothing I don't want there. I mean, the egg thing is an interesting dimension to it, but I'm still going to take a bite of it.
It's too
Yeah.
much.
They
There's
also
too many
have
things.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not pizza anymore, really.
They have two dessert pizzas.
Yeah.
One called banana and honey, that just has honey, bananas, and cinnamon. That sounds like a good time
Yeah.
to me.
A lot
Yeah,
of Nutella
for sure.
pies where I live. You can get,
Sure.
good stuff. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
It's not.
Remember those
Excuse me,
Oreo
it's not foul.
dessert pizza mustache or dessert pizzas they used to do at the mustache?
Yeah,
thing?
what's with the mustache? What
They were
about?
so
Oh,
good.
okay, right. Yeah.
Commercial where you ate it and you got the big beard.
Yeah,
Oh shit,
that's
was
fun.
good. It was
Nice.
Domino's, I think.
That was some cosplay at the hotel business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys put eggs on burgers ever? Like a nice
hell
fried
yeah.
egg
Yeah,
on a
man.
burger? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Some
Have it
avocado.
in the shower. Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
balance that shit.
Yo, McDonald's will put an egg puck on anything. You just have to ask.
No
Oh,
way.
cool.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a step backwards though, because I just
No.
feel like when I think of eggs, I don't think of that puck. I'm not like I want that fried egg.
I have a weird fondness for
be
it.
They have different types of
runny.
eggs, though, don't they? They have like runny eggs and not runny, but like they're not the puck, right?
Soft boiled.
They have the
Yeah.
like white and yellow and the full yellow.
Sure,
What? What is that?
but they're different. There are different shapes, though. They do have different types of. Why do I know so much about McDonald's?
It's the
Doesn't
first thing
make
Coke,
sense.
now the eggs.
Yeah,
I mean,
your job.
that was a guilty pleasure of mine. That bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit when I was a kid. I mean, forget it.
yeah.
New episode's Guilty Treasure out on Monday. Jan is the.
Hey.
Sorry, just.
Fuck
said it too.
yeah.
He's just talking
New
about
teas-
biscuits.
New teas.
Yep.
It?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
say
I
nothing?
I just talk about my favorite McDonald's Happy Meal toy.
There we go.
Damn.
All right, well
Damn.
that's a bunch of voicemails.
All right. Well, thanks for curating all that, Ben, having to sift through all that stuff. No small
wait.
task.
Jan, if people want to email the show, where do they email?
You can normally send them into bombcast@giantbomb.com. I pulled out a bunch. I read them. They were all great. You're all beautiful people.
So good.
Yeah.
Is there like another different email address?
No.
Ben, what's
That,
what's
that I don't know.
What are you
If people
fishing
email,
for
who
here,
knows
Ben?
what's going to happen to it? Maybe there's like a script set up to auto reply with the first little filled in Gmail auto response, which is usually L, capital L, lowercase OL with a period for some reason. The B-mails go to this address at gmail.com. Send in an email. I don't know. See what happens. Fuck around. Find out.
Fuck around
All right.
and find out.
the
I
giant
love
Emails
bomb
go
on
to
it.
this address at gmail.com.
You've got
This
your
address.
orders.
Yeah.
Love it.
Which address?
The emails go to this address. Sorry,
Not emails.
the emails go to this address at
Yes.
gmail.com. It's hard
Pay
because there's
attention.
B, there's E, there's G, there's all sorts of. It's like
Yeah.
the freaking Sesame Street out here.
Totally. This show definitely brought to you by B-Mails. That's going to do it for the Giant Bombcast. This has been great. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, everyone. We got exciting stuff coming up this week. Like I said earlier, a little Back for Blood, little Jackbox Ocho, and maybe some other
Jack
stuff
in the Box.
peppered in throughout. So have a lovely conclusion to the rest of your week, and we will see you very soon. Thanks, everyone. Later.
Oh. Wait.
Whoa.
There we go.
Abrupt.